Cheers to episode 141.
Cheers.
Earn the Deer Camp week.
Green tea. I feel like a beta after that beer crack.
I got a V8.
With a natural light.
Not again, Alex. It's the first time you've ever drank a V8.
No, I had one like 2 weeks ago, and you're like, you don't drink V8s.
Yep. I was about to say, Evan, you know why he brought that? Because just to spite me, because I said you don't
Yes.
drink V8.
I drink them like every day because, I don't eat enough vegetables.
So you rushed home from work, and top of mind was to grab a V8 just to.
Well, I knew that I'm starving, and I got to. I need something. I can't eat during the show, so I can drink a V8.
What are your work hours? Why are you working until 7 o'clock?
I was wondering that too. I just hope everything's okay.
Well, this week specifically is month-end close. We close on Thursday. So you have to get all your shit done by Thursday, basically.
So you're like a month. You're
basically the first 2 weeks of every month. I have to like do a bunch of shit, and then the last 2 weeks of every month are pretty calm.
I thought you were about to say do nothing. I was like, whoa, Alex, don't sell yourself short.
I said calm.
What if you spaced out all the work evenly across the 4 weeks?
You can't really, because you can't start doing a bunch of stuff until it turns to the first. So you have to wait for everything to like close.
All right. Welcome to the number one sports show in the state of Michigan, all around sports show in the state of Michigan, coverage from A to Z. It is Monday, November 13th, 2023, 8:18 p.m. East Coast, 7:18 p.m. Central Time. And boys, we are deep into championship November football. This is the time of year when you separate the men from the boys for at least two football teams in the state. It's getting into crunch time.
I just feel like November.
2 weeks left of college football season, regular season. 2 weeks.
I feel like NFL really hits after Thanksgiving. That's when it gets serious.
Yeah,
because college football's over with.
Yeah, it's great.
But you start to separate a little bit in the NFL in November.
Maybe it feels like that because of our win on Sunday. I don't know.
Yes.
We've never really been good, so I guess we don't really know.
Which we'll get into. As always, we'll talk about NFL Week 10, Lions Chargers, and that NCAA Week 11, Michigan, Penn State, latest with Michigan, any other big picture thoughts. I have some questions about Michigan State football for you guys to answer. I also wrote down making predictions for the rest of football season. It could be a fun time to see if we want to change anything from what we initially thought. I didn't go back and pull receipts, but I feel like I have a good idea of what I was thinking at the start of the football season. And just any awards, where we're at now that we have, well over half of college football, but about halfway of NFL football to see what we think the rest of the way. So that is pretty much tonight's show. We'll start, as always, before we get into that, rate and review, subscribe, all platforms, please. Alex, how was your week since Tuesday?
Pretty good.
Glad to hear.
Work's pretty busy this last week and a half or so. So I haven't had time to do much other than that. I had a gym incident that I texted you guys about. Might be easier for me to describe it to you in this, because I don't think you were really understanding the picture, Graham. So I was benching. When you put the bar down on the bench, it has to hold on that little rack, right?
Yep. Usually there's different layers too, right?
Yeah. There's so in this one, there's three like height levels. I was all the way at the top one. So that didn't matter, but took it off, did like two reps. Wasn't really like looking up because I figured if I've done two already, I probably wasn't close to hitting the thing. Pushed the third one up, nicked it hard on the left. Like I smoked it. And so then I hit it like this. So I'm going up like this, hit it with this.
Close
hand.
grip.
No, I can't fit it all in the camera.
Right.
And then so I hit it really hard. So my whole hands just like go like this basically.
And it's the bottom safety clip you hit, the bottom safety bar?
Yeah.
The holder?
So I pushed it all the way up with my right arm and my left arm's down here.
And safety clips on the sides?
Off. I've read you need to keep them off when you don't have a spotter, so you can just drop the weights off the side if you ever get in a pickle.
That actually does kind of make sense.
There's a fun fact for you. But the weights were not falling off, so it's just like this.
No lube.
And like when I hit it, it pushed my arms forward, so the bar's like hanging over my like belly button.
Oh.
So like
Hip thrust that machine.
The balance
Roll it down a
on
little
this
bit. Hip thrust it.
So I am like battling this bar like bad. Like I'm putting every ounce of my body and effort into like getting it back to my chest height. And it felt like 30 seconds. It was probably like 4 seconds, but like getting it back, like I started like blacking out. Like I couldn't see anything, pushed it up. I'm just like holding it up. Like I didn't even put it on the rack. Just held it up. I was so like worried that people were watching me because there was tons of people around. So I was like, the only way you're going to get through this is if you just keep doing it. So you just pretend that didn't happen. So I just hold it up, catch my breath for a second, and I kept going. I breathed out the rest. And I put it down. I got up. My hands are shaking. I'm like, holy
No
that
way.
was terrible.
No
And
way.
I was like
to another rep. No way.
Yeah, I did multiple after that. And I just was like, I put it down and I like sit up on the bench. I'm just looking around to see if people were looking at me. Couldn't really tell, but like I was flustered. My face was like bright red. Like I was so embarrassed. I was like, holy shit.
Alex gets up, he pulls out his like, people are like, what? It's called going to failure.
Ever heard of it?
I was like, yeah, I was wondering if someone was like going to come. I was hoping no one like came over and saw it. But then again, I was also hoping like someone saw it and came and helped me.
Save me.
I'm guessing someone just saw him and was like, what the f is happening over there? And then
Look at this guy.
But to Evan's point, though,
held
how
on.
cool would it have been if you rolled it down to your hip thrusted it into the air?
I don't
caught
think I
it,
could have
and then
done
kept
that.
going.
I think if it got down on my, like I was so worried of keeping up because I thought if it got down on me, like I wasn't going to be able to, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. Like roll it down me, like to the floor. That's just
Slide the weights off to one side.
But then you just
Oh,
make
like
a
that
bunch of noise.
would have been the climax, Alex, of it being embarrassing, not the entire like process. What you just described.
Well,
wasn't
I'm just
embarrassing
saying
at
it could have gotten worse. I could have struggled with it, and then the weights fall off. There's a bunch of noise. And also if one side falls off, the other side's flying off on the
Correct.
other side because it's just
Oh, yeah.
And so then I probably would have got injured. Could have been an absolute nightmare. So,
I can't believe the weights didn't fall off. That's like good for less distraction, but also terrible because it puts you in a tougher spot.
I mean, it probably would have if I just let it, but
It also probably was like
That was
5
so
seconds,
determined.
but felt
yeah,
like
it
a
felt
minute.
like a minute, and it was probably like a good 5 seconds, maybe. So yeah, I was rattled. I was like, maybe I'll never come back to the gym.
Have you benched since?
Yeah, I benched. I benched yesterday. So.
Well, I guess you kept benching that same session.
Yeah, I actually did another set after that, so I did make it through, but it's pretty wobbly. And I did a lot less weight yesterday. I was just like, I'm not even messing with this. Even though I wasn't even doing that much in the beginning, I just clipped the thing.
Do you guys think less of me because I haven't been at Retro Fitness? I just do all their machine stuff essentially because they have really nice machines. So I haven't done dumbbell bench or barbell bench. I've done dumbbell bench once there, and I don't do barbell bench.
I don't think less of you, but I don't think you're maximizing your potential.
Some people might though, and that's okay. I will say though, they have like plate loaded machines, and those I feel like are kind of game changing. Those are nice.
You always used to say to me, you can't use Smith machines, but now you're just a strictly machine guy only. Like that's quite a big jump.
I know. I was schooled. I started diving into some YouTubers that
Safer.
I respect their knowledge, and they're huge, and they're just like, I'd rather be called essentially, but never get hurt because they're doing they're stabilizing everything than have what happened to Alex and get hurt, and then you're sidelined for 3 months, and then you lose everything.
Yeah. I'm sure
my
Evan has
shoulders.
scientific knowledge about it, but I'm sure there's a reason why dumbbells and the bars are better or maximize your strength
More core work for sure.
Yeah.
We're using more, but you're also
you don't have to
using
use anything else.
proprioceptors and central nervous system when you're doing it.
Yeah, see that, Grant?
CNS.
Missing out. And I'm also
That's why
those
Hank
guys
is
that
so
are
good.
big that use machines now probably didn't get big from using machines.
Steroids.
Yeah, probably that actually. Maybe I'll try those. So yeah, I had a gym incident. I don't remember what day that was, but that was brutal. And then this weekend we had a game. Went to that, and then I went to the bar after that. Indulged in some beverages. I had a tequila shot on Saturday. It was like the smoothest tequila shot I've ever done in my life. I don't know what it was. I didn't buy
Patron.
it, so I don't know. But like, it wasn't like top shelf or anything, and it was smooth. Like even Evan would have been good with it. It would just be another like funny like how they view Michigan. They call me the North for some reason. Anything north of Texas, they refer to as the North. So I thought that was hilarious. I
think you should take that. Yeah.
There was some weird question I got today about like Walmarts. Like, do you have them? Once again, they just think we live in like isolation.
Ever heard of Kroger?
Meyer.
Ever heard of
I
Myers?
have
those.
not heard of Meyer. They have Kroger.
They have Kroger?
I don't think Kroger's a Michigan brand.
How close is the nearest Raising Cane's to you?
There's like 20,000 of them. There's 7 Chick-fil-A's in a 3-mile radius.
That's all right.
crazy.
I could do some canes though.
And yeah, and that barbecue place is literally across the street. I didn't know what you were talking.
I'm pissed that you haven't gotten it
sounds
yet.
Pretty
I'm
similar.
pissed.
Doesn't
I did have that question.
ever look busy.
Alex doesn't respect good barbecue? Question mark. Confirmed.
I don't love barbecue. Yeah, I did ask someone after you texted that, and I was like, "Is Truth Barbecue good?" And they're like, "Well, it's like an Austin barbecue place that they just moved, like added another location down here, so it's pretty new. So I don't know if anybody's really at it."
Get in there. Become a valid member. Get a
Kind of
work
sad
system
nobody
going.
laughed at the video of that lady that I sent because that was funny. Cut up the solo shot of her in the TikTok
solo
video.
shot. It's the fact
I
that you
didn't
just
watch
screenshot
the
it.
video. I just saw it.
Oh my god! Oh, fuck, that's good. That's classic.
Also,
I want you to recreate that, Alex.
Sunday I was a little hungover and I did not do literally anything at all. Also, I am now getting hangovers from like 2 drinks. It's just disgusting. I don't know. What's happening.
You
Washed.
just took a tequila shot, Alex.
I know. I got to work on it. Probably need to drink more water.
Yeah, mixing in water. You used to make fun of me for that, but
I just mean in general. I don't mean like while I'm drinking. Whoa, dude, turn your ringer on.
Evan, your weekend review.
Let's see. Weekend review from Tuesday. Nothing until Friday. New place. Moved into a new place.
Looks nice.
New location.
Wow,
I think I was counting it. This is like the 5th or 6th spot that I've recorded a podcast from.
Impressive. I wonder how many I've been in.
So did that Friday. I was super busy this weekend. Had to work Saturday, meeting Saturday. Saturday afternoon didn't do much. Did errands, chores, all that stuff. Sunday, back on the grind, Alex. As you mentioned
I
in
was
the
disappointed
group chat.
when I saw that text.
Blowing the
The
whistle.
ball is hitting its peak and you are not going to see it.
I'm not going to see much of it. 13 youth basketball games officiated on Sunday. First game started at 9. Last game started at 7.
Oh my god.
That's a lot. Yeah. Also, Evan, Saturday you couldn't have been that busy because you were active. In the
I wasn't busy. I moved my schedule around on Saturday just so I could watch the Michigan Penn State game. Turned out it was a dud.
But we'll get to that.
So
That was good for
Terrible.
well, it depends on who you're cheering for. And then I did all my chores and whatnot, errands, during the 3:30 slate.
Oh, Evan, you grocery shopped big time. Full on grocery shop.
I did not because I'm going to be gone the entire week this week, and the following week's Thanksgiving, so didn't really buy much.
It's disappointing. I'm looking forward to hearing.
Is Deer Camp this week?
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow night.
electric.
Do you know why deer camp is placed when it is?
Deer season.
What deer season?
Yeah, when does that start? And what kind of season?
Gun deer season.
When does that start?
Which is what day?
Tomorrow.
Oh, always November 15th, opening day of gun season in the state of Michigan.
I know listener Cody with the K would always take off first hour.
Yes.
I wonder if people like hunt a lot here. I also don't know if
I think they do.
It's the same. It's like
I don't think it is.
Deer season.
Joe Rogan lives down there.
Like Indiana, because I was in Indiana, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it was completely different than Michigan.
I think it's different. Also, the deer in Texas are pretty small.
Yeah.
Body-wise. They're a lot bigger.
Well, because they're not all of them are whitetail, that's why.
Correct.
However, so I did that Friday, Saturday, Sunday officiated, and then today was first day of Michigan high school boys basketball season kicked off. So first day of tryouts.
Coach?
Yes.
For what? It's hard to
JV and varsity.
A lot of coaching. So
JV and varsity, Alex.
So you
Webster still there?
Yes, Webster's still there. He's varsity head coach. When I say varsity, it's a loose leaf statement. I help with like game day stuff.
But JV coach.
JV full-time assistant coach.
Paid dollars for this?
Paid. Alex, I don't do anything for free. Other than that, that is the exciting thing. I realized how much stuff I really don't have and how much crap I don't need in my life. Because moving sucks. You guys moved way more. And I just thought about you guys the entire time while I was moving. It was like, I hate doing this. And I just have to drive like 10 minutes to move to my new location where you guys were moving like across the country. I was like, I can't imagine.
You pack.
I also realized I have way too many clothes.
Dude, I
don't have enough storage for it right now. So it's half of my clothes are just laying on the floor still because I don't have enough storage yet.
I wear 10% of my clothing, maybe.
Same. Or 10%. Get new clothes throughout the year.
Yeah. I just wear all the new stuff, and then that old stuff just rots. It just doesn't get worn.
I have so much.
Also, I've been the basketball team I played on last year got an opening. Can't play.
Yes, I've already been in contract negotiations with the new.
Your
captain.
roommate is on the team.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You got a free ride. Carpool.
Evan, you could do the thing that I don't think Alex did. You could do the box thing where you keep everything in a box, and if you don't use it, then you throw it away.
I think I'm thinking about doing the hanger trick that people like tend to do. That like you turn all your hangers. You know how you put them on, so like the hook. So you have the bar. The hook is facing this way. You turn all your hangers around, opposite direction. So the ones that you never use are facing the wrong direction by the end of the year, and you get rid of those shirts.
I like that a lot.
My closet in Birmingham only allowed for me to put them the other way.
What kind of closet did you have?
So it was like it had like a cover like this, and then the hook would be on this side.
You could still put them the other way.
It would only go this way. You can't go this way because it doesn't hook to anything.
But you could flip it horizontally on an axis.
Just this only. Can you imagine? You can't hook to this because it's just a wall.
Yeah. But
here, there's a hook on the inside of here. This making sense?
Yeah.
No, not really.
But you could flip it. You could flip it so one's like just facing that way. That's how mine is here, where they can face that way. And
all I know is I would be throwing away 95% of my wardrobe.
I would, and I don't think I want to throw it away because a lot of the clothes is like still nice. I'm going to be selling them on like Facebook Marketplace for like $4.
I would do that. I just don't have the effort, time. Like I just don't want to go through that process. I threw out a bunch of clothes too before I came. I didn't throw them out. I just gave them to my parents and said, "Deal with this and take care of it if you want them."
My accumulation problem is like a first world problem where the different jobs I've had require different dress codes. So I'll stock up on that piece of clothing. And then once so in New York, we had to wear a shirt and tie every day. So I have like 5 set of shirts.
endless
and 5 ties and
Oh.
dress pants. So I still have like those dress shirts. I just don't ever wear them except for like when I have to dress up. But I have too many because I was wearing them every day. And
I feel
then
bad for you, Grant.
Vikings was fine because it was like they gave me a lot of stuff, but then you're just wearing team merch like every day. And then now
There's a lot
the
of
new
team
one
merch
is like
going on.
I'm like quarter zip guy. So now I have like 5 quarter zips. I just wear those every day. It's like, but I still have all the other stuff. So I just have accumulations of things that I just don't
Yeah,
wear
but
anymore.
eventually, Grant, those quarter zips, you're going to be like, oh, I need some new ones because like these are getting old. Now these are all I wear. And then now you'd be like me and you have 26 quarter zips and you still want new ones because you're like, I wear these all the time.
Because you always see something shopping. You always see something and you're like, this is
It's
nice.
a nice quarter zip. Or like Johnny Bravo walks in the office in a new quarter zip. You're like, oh, damn, that's a nice quarter zip.
Yeah. And my next mission is because I like the Lulu pants. I'm just going to start saving stuff every month until I have 5 pairs of them. And then that's going to be my pants.
I also need new pants bad. And I have a bunch of pants, but they're all shitty. And I don't like them. So I need more. And I ripped a pair of pants this week.
The zipper.
Was zipping my pants in the bathroom right before I was leaving for work. Just ripped them all up they just completely ripped off. The zipper just was in my hand. I'm like, oh my God.
Quickly for me, November 13th, happy birthday, Lauren. My sister's
Happy birthday,
today.
Lauren. I don't think you
She's
listened, but happy birthday.
I think she does weekly recaps.
What
I
is she,
think she's
22?
23, I believe, because I'm 26.
Wow. Lauren's old as shit.
Yep. So good for her. Hopefully she had a good day. I should address for the people that haven't texted us, we were aware of the Spotify issue. The episode is now up. I don't know what happened with Spotify. I got some stupid email from Podbean, which is our support system. There's like, maybe try changing your artwork or delete a space in the title. And I was like, okay. I did that.
I'm sure that's
and
going to work, buddy.
nothing changed. Nothing changed. And then eventually it came back. So hopefully it works this week. What did I do? Beautiful weather here, Alex. Weather update, Michigan. Sunday was a pristine fall day in Michigan. It was 50 degrees and sunny. So
And I missed it all.
walk.
Missed every day. Every single
think it was
second of that
sorry,
nice weather,
yes.
Grant. Missed it.
It was fantastic.
Weather hasn't been very good here.
Oh, hot
It's
seat.
like 60 and rainy. It's kind of gross.
And then Saturday night, I did something I haven't done in 15 years. I had Hungry Howie's.
Dude, no way. We've been talking about Hungry Howie's at work for the last week. Because I was like, is Hungry Howie's a Michigan
why?
thing? Like, what, is this a national thing? And apparently there's a Hungry Howie's in College Station. And then we got into like what pizza chains are like good and what are not. And for some reason, Little Caesars was ranked number 1 by them. And I was like, that's absurd because that is cardboard pizza.
We actually just did that at work. I'm curious what you guys think. It was like rank these 6, and it was Papa.
People love Papa
Pete-
John's too.
It was Domino's, Jets, Hungry Howie's, Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, and maybe Papa John's. Maybe we're the 6. I put Little Caesars just out of spite of Chris Illich. I just immediate 6.
It would be my 6. It sucks. And also, Chris
I
Illich.
think Domino's is my number 1.
I said that, Evan, at work, and I got flamed for it. I was told
Yeah, I would
that
flame you.
Domino's
They're
is
obviously getting the wrong
correct.
pizzas. Hey, shout out Drew.
I was like, in college, I loved those like specials. They're just phenomenal.
The specials,
flavor
shout out
crust.
Drew. He gets the pan pizzas. They have different variety of crusts, and I think they perfected the pan pizza.
Domino's is great. I don't know why people hate it, but
Their stuffed cheese bread is like diabetes in a pan,
Oh.
but it's so good.
rating Little Caesars over
Cholesterol, I should say
Domino's.
cholesterol issue in a pan.
Alex, we never told you this, but maybe we did. I forgot, but it was hilarious when Evan and I were walking back from the Michigan State game. We passed Giorgio's, and there was the longest
The
line.
biggest crowd I've ever seen in that building.
Like serpentine, 3 rows out the door, and Evan just going by screaming, "You're wasting your time. The pizza stinks."
But Marissa loves it.
No, it's disgusting. It's a disgusting place.
You know what Marissa loves? Ranch. And you know what's disgusting? Ranch.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I actually like ranch.
Did we talk about ranch as a salad dressing last week on this show?
No.
Someone told me, like, if you like ranch as a salad dressing, you're basically like a serial killer.
A child.
Like of all salad dressings, like ranch is disgusting to be one. It's so thick. It's like milk on a salad.
Ew, I hate that thought.
The main ingredient in ranch is mayonnaise, and people wonder why they're not getting skinny on eating salads. Well, you dumped a whole cup of ranch on it, and it's buttermilk and mayo. So what do you think? Well, they're shoveling a spoonful of ranch into their mouth, like, I didn't do it.
The fact that people think they get skinny from just eating a salad is the part that's the most
with ranch.
Dude, I'm eating healthy. I'm having a salad. Well, what'd you put on that salad? Is there squirting ranch on top of
ranch. I got a Mountain Dew I'm drinking with it.
Oh, don't worry, guys. It's a
Salad
diet.
Dressings are terrible. Like, if you ever looked at, like, even just Italian dressing,
dude,
or, like,
all salad
French
dressings are really
it's
bad
disgusting.
for you.
Just a bunch of oils.
Yeah.
You got to get those. That one brand. I don't remember what it's called. There's a brand that's like zero something. It's a dude. It's a black dude.
G. Hughes.
Yeah.
G. Hughes, sugar-free, like barbecue everything. My last thing was, this is more to us, but fantasy football got crazy this week.
Oh, you just started buying players. I just need to say one thing. If I did what Grant did, first of all, I got 4 vetoes for my trade. Unbelievable. And then
I think Brad just vetoes just a veto, but Hunter was going to veto your trades no matter what. There was one reason.
He's
I can't
vetoed
remember what it was.
3 in a row of mine. Every trade.
Yeah, he said he's vetoing every single one of your trades because there was one specific reason for it, and I can't remember why.
Because I won't accept any of his dog shit offers for Travis Kelce every week that he sends me 6.
I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it was that. There was something else. I can't remember what it was.
But 4 vetoes? For that?
I think it was,
and then Grant bought a player for $50 and no one even said anything?
I think there was a lot of chatter.
Yeah, but no vetoes.
Chatter about that.
No vetoes.
Right. Well, I think if my trade would have gone first, I think that it would have gotten vetoes. Your trade set the precedent of people mortgaging the future, so I think that softened the blow for mine.
Mine was $12. Yours was $50.
And I want it on the record for those in our league. That trade was already in the works with Cody before yours. That I just accelerated my want to get it done because I saw that go through. I was like, I need to make a move. So I texted.
I know Cody listens to this too. That was a horrendous trade. And he is going to finish.
Why?
Because he can't win with the roster he has. He can't. He can't win a game with that roster.
I said the same thing to Ben that this weekend we were talking about fantasy. And I looked at McCrate's roster. What morning was it? Friday morning? I looked at his roster Friday morning, and the words that came out of my mouth was, "This might be the worst fantasy team I've ever seen."
I wish someone would have.
And I've had some doozies myself. I had some
Cody on draft night proclaimed his team the best team, and that he's like, "Wow, I really drafted."
He's had some bad luck. He made a bad trade. He's had some bad luck, but
I'm glad he did.
Yeah,
he did make that bad trade for me.
Extreme dumpster fire calling your team the worst ever is never a good spot to be in.
Yes. Correct.
Your team's really rebounded.
He just needs one
lost
week,
this week.
though,
I got my ass kicked by Mike Evans.
Also, when Grant made that CD Lamb trade, I texted him immediately because I saw the ESPN notification. I said, what the better have been for $50? Because I was like, I was going to have to veto a trade. I was actually going to have to. Because I thought that was just pure, straight up McCray giving up, which it was, which is crazy. It's very early to do that, but
he did. He texted me. He's like, honestly, Grant, I'd rather not pay for the dinner than have 350 auction before he did it. So I was like, oh no, he's not going to do it. And I was like, I understand, Cody, because I would rather
he's
not
paying
have
for
to pay for a big dinner.
He is.
He just needs 1 week. He needs 1 week.
It's going to require a miracle. He needs every other team to sell out like that because his team is awful.
Do you just have to win one game in the losers bracket?
You just have to win the very final game,
the very last game.
Right.
But he's going to be in that last game because he's going to lose the other.
There's 3 rounds for the.
Okay.
For I think there's 3 rounds.
If he wins his first one and then loses his second one, he's back in the toilet.
Correct.
Oh no way! So you can win your first and lose 2 in a row.
Yep. And
if you're finishing last place, yes, yeah, because he's going to be so in the shitter. Like it's going to come down to one game for him, no matter.
Oh god. Because he's probably not going to win 2.
And whoever's in that game is probably going to be like, oh,
there'd be so much pressure.
I'm not going to lose to this guy.
Wow.
I don't know.
I think that game. I think that last place game, if Cody's in it, that last place game is going to be more watched than the actual championship game.
There's a decent.
That's how it was last year, I think, because I was supposed to win on paper and I got dusted by Ben.
I did laugh when three of like the top 4 like highest scoring teams all made trades, and then Cody sent the super teams gif. I thought that was pretty funny. Because everyone's mortgaging the future, and now there's just a bunch of super teams. Oh man, funny. I'm gonna lose to Ricky this week, so
I didn't even hesitate on 50. I was just like 50. Just take it.
250 next year. No, be interesting to see. Everyone who just wrote you off and said you're going to be terrible, though, is completely wrong. That's just not true.
Granted, it can't be done. I made a roster for.
He had 39 this week.
I had a roster for 264.
Just buy
well,
two.
The
really
loser
good
used to. It used to be the loser punishment. I've seen like the loser.
I think the loser was like 225. It was only 25 though.
Oh.
I could be wrong.
Well, I probably won't be able to spend up for like a top guy because I'll be screwed. So I'll just have to play it.
Do the Ben Botcher method. Just Ben Botcher's method. Just solid
floor, low ceiling.
8 guys.
But he
Keenan Allen's having.
Was it Evans' text? Was like all this to beat Ben Beebe?
I don't think his team is capable of winning, but
dude, you never know.
I know because last year his team was the exact same, and everyone was like, "No chance, Ben Botcher's team wins," and then somehow he did.
We should have known. We should have freaking known that Keenan Allen was going to be good in Kellen Moore's offense.
I mean, Keenan Allen's always good,
and Mike Williams got hurt. So
Mike Williams got hurt.
Would you guys like to do NFL and Lions or college in Michigan first?
I don't care.
Whatever you want to talk about first, Grant.
I don't really care about Michigan anymore. I've exhausted my breath on them.
Let's do NFL. Our NFL Week 10 takeaways. Does anyone have a big takeaway or thought or question they want to get out there?
Well, I don't know. Are we just talking overall NFL or like can it be Lions?
Overall NFL.
Overall before Lions. I'd like to do no Lions right now.
Just going to reiterate Evan's point. If whoever put Eagles, Chiefs, and Dolphins on bye on the same week is a criminal. And I want them. Yeah. I want them gone.
For me, this was the week where the witching hour is crazy, and I think we had 5 walk-off kicks. This was like that week in the NFL of the year that you have every year where it's just chaos at the end. I had multiple like holy shits just to myself watching on the couch of the Browns. They were down 31-17.
When I saw they came
tied
back,
up.
That was
the linked. Packers Saints was down to the wire. I know like the matchups on paper.
Packers Steelers.
Stupid.
Packers Steelers. Thank you. Saints Vikings ended up coming down to the wire because Jameis is crazy.
Must watch television.
But it was one of those weeks where the matchups on paper weren't that good because of all the good teams on bye, but the results they produced were riveting down to the wire. Speaking of the Vikings, Dobbs 2-0. Guys kind of have a problem in our division. They get Justin Jefferson back. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but those 2 games, like 2 weeks ago, we would have been like, oh, Vikings easy 2-0. No longer feel that way because of his play and how good they've looked as a team. So
I mean, I think we need to remember, besides the 49ers game, which they had Kirk Cousins, they're not beating like great teams. So I'm not that worried about it. But they have an easy schedule until we play them, so they're going to keep winning. That's pretty simple. But I'm not worried.
But it's just in terms of going to US Bank 2 weeks ago, you're like, oh, easy win. We're playing Jaron Hall. Now it's like, oh, we could lose that game if Josh Dobbs just does Josh. We can't stop running quarterback, so we probably will lose that game.
Well, to say they will probably lose is a little bit of an overstatement and overreaction based on 2 Josh Dobbs games, one against the Falcons and one against the Saints. And Jameis Winston was playing in the fourth quarter and threw 2 interceptions. And Derek Carr's already a bad quarterback. We've gone into great detail on that.
I'll bet Vikings money line at US Bank. Easy. We can't stop Justin Jefferson. He almost had 300 yards at Ford Field. And we can't stop running quarterbacks.
You have bias. Josh Dobbs is not a lightning rod speed quarterback either. He's mobile.
He's the second most rush yards in the NFL as a QB, Alex. So
he's mobile, but he's not going to like scare you. He does not scare me. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Kyler Murray.
Second most rush yards as a quarterback.
Cool.
To say he's not like mobile.
I said he's mobile. I said he's not like Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson. Like, you don't have to worry about it that much. He's going to get a couple
I think
runs.
you do.
I think you're just biased and you're overreacting. But that's what you do. You're good at that. So
Kyler made his return. Speak of the devil, made his return. Good to see him back. That's your guy, Evan. I feel like you're a Kyler stan.
Not good to
I
see
am a
him
Kyler
back. He's
guy.
a loser.
He's exciting, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Don't have much to say on the NFL Sunday. So
He's roughing.
Yeah, Evan didn't see it.
I don't really have much. With three of the best teams not playing kind of hurts, and a lot of the teams beat up on inferior opponents. So it's like the mediocre teams were playing each other.
Yeah, it was a lot of mediocre. CJ Stroud is him.
And it really doesn't help that the Sunday night game dud, Monday night game dud. So
Dude, every primetime game this year feels terrible. They're just not exciting.
This is what
Rodgers
happens when you pick
got
one
hurt.
team and somebody gets hurt.
Sucks. Why do they keep putting the Broncos in every year? They just think
Sean
they're going to be
Payton,
good.
they think the Broncos are.
They're up 3-0.
Doesn't matter.
They beat the Chiefs.
Well, the actual game of probably the most exciting game of the day on Sunday. Evan, did you get to see any highlights, or do you have any want to lead us off on thoughts about the Lions game versus the Chargers?
I have been watching a crap ton of highlights and doing a little box score watching and digging up some stats or whatnot. My biggest takeaway is instantly was hand up, my fault, defense played like crap because I announced Aaron Glenn on last podcast as the defensive MVP. Turns out, no, it just as we get down the stretch, this defense has excelled, but against inferior quarterbacks. And three of the good quarterbacks to pretty good to a solid quarterback. The defense has given up, I think, like 35, 38, and 38 against the Seahawks, Ravens, and Chargers.
Granted, Justin Herbert is very, very good.
I'm saying all those quarterbacks / offenses are very good. The problem with I have is that when you get into the playoffs, like the Lions should make the playoffs, you are not going to face inferior quarterbacks. You are going to face elite quarterbacks. How is this defense going to respond to that?
I don't know.
Like, we have a
They're gonna
very
face
bad
elite
track record right
quarterbacks.
now. A very bad track record right now going into the second half of the season.
What's elite to you? Who's elite to you?
I'm just saying elite offenses. Right now, the NFC
We're gonna
playoff
face
picture.
some
Who are
better
you?
offenses, yeah. But I mean, outside of the Eagles and Niners, I mean, you could say Dallas, but other than that, it's not. Like, your first game is likely not going to be against some high-powered offense.
Okay. Well, the Seahawks. If we play the Seahawks, we haven't
I
beat
don't
them
know
in
why they
6 tries.
scored that many points. Their offense has been not very good for the last 4 weeks.
Okay, but they face us, Alex. The last 4 times that they faced us, they scored more than 35 points.
Agreed, but I don't know. Are you hitting the panic button on the defense? Is that what you're doing?
I'm not hitting the panic button. I need more answers than. I have more questions than I do have answers for this defense right now. Looking forward towards playoff record, because in playoffs you're going to face a solid offense.
Grant,
Can this defense stop solid offenses?
I've decided that I'm giving up on trying to predict what the defense will do, and I'm going to try to live a more
in the moment lifestyle,
reactionary lifestyle, where like I just can't. For the life of me, I can't figure this defense out. I have it figured out. I have it figured out, but what I figured out is I don't have it figured out. If you stay with me here, is that
he's figured out that he hasn't figured it out.
Like, I mean, there's a clear weakness on the defense.
Like, but sometimes this defense has looked awesome, has looked like a top 10 unit against like it flashes, and then against like bad teams, they look really, really good. All facets of the defense. Like they'll have games where like they have 6 sacks, and it looks like Ali McNeil is getting through, and then Hutch is complimenting, and Kaminsky's doing his thing, and they look really good. And we come on here and we praise them. Evan hands Aaron Glenn, gets cute on his answers, says MVP. Boom,
Mistake.
teed it up, and then they come out and I would literally just lay down on the couch and asked to be cuddled because I was like, here comes a touchdown by the Chargers. Please, Mom, hold me. It's like, we can't do anything. And then I'll pop up on offense. I'm like, all right, we're going to score again. So it's like, I just have given up on this defense, like trying to predict anything. What I will say, though, Evan and Alex, is that they did do okay against the run. And obviously, maybe the Chargers could have ran for more if they wanted to. Maybe they was like, all right, let's just keep throwing. But that could help you against the Eagles and Niners, because those teams do depend on the run a lot. And if you hold them to sub 4 yards per carry, if you're telling me Brock Purdy has to throw 40 times to beat us in a playoff game, I like our chances significantly more than Herbert throwing 40 times against us. The same with Hurts. Like Hurts probably a little bit scarier because he's better than Purdy, but all the gunslingers are in the AFC. So I do think
no gunslingers in the AFC.
I'm uneasy about our defense. But my post-game question was like, did you leave this game more uneasy about the defense or more excited about the win? And I'm just a pea-brain, so I'm always more excited about the win.
Don't get me wrong.
We'll figure out the defense later.
I think Dan Campbell said it best in his
say that.
in the press conference. The clip that I think the Lions tweeted it out. He said, "Never be ashamed or whatever about the win," or something along those lines. And we've been saying on the podcast, we should always cherish the wins. It's basically the same thing. They're like, I don't care how you won in the NFL. Alex, you've been pounding the table the last year saying anybody can beat anybody and a win's a win. That win was a win. It was on the road. I know we're coming off a bye week, but on the road, Chargers are a solid offense, bad defense. The coach is going to get fired. So I'm taking the win.
The SOL Lions are not pulling that game out. The Jim Caldwell.
I also do hate
pulling that game out.
I do hate the outcome of the game that where like instantly a lot of Lions fans started pointing fingers and playing the what if game. Of like with Dan Campbell, like, well, what if we didn't get that fourth?
Well, Grant's been doing that bullshit too every week when he's like, well, what if they would have hit Mike Evans?
There was no what if. We don't have to play the what if games.
They didn't happen. The what ifs didn't happen.
That's true.
So stop worrying about it.
Don't play the what if situation.
No, if anything, it was the bailouts, because they're really like there was flashes of like okay defense, and then there was that one drive where it was like 5 penalties in a row. We had one of the craziest goal line stand stretches going in this season of football.
8
where we were
plays
just
inside
stuffing them at the one, stuffed,
straight
stuffed, and they call wimpy DPI.
That was
all right,
terrible.
well, that should not have been 7 points.
Terrible call.
So if anything, it was like, the what ifs were the other way. Like we should have won that game.
I did feel like the refs were
just
not
a testament to this team
in that game, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
We
start the game, that little call on Decker. I mean, I know we had to kick a field goal. Like that was like Tony Romo was looking at it and he was like, I don't know, Jim.
Oh,
he
we
says
didn't
it all the time, but
did we kick a
I
field
don't
goal?
know, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a field goal on our first drive. It was just like, all right. But
also, Jim Nance was very clearly just like not for the Lions, and that was bothering me.
Oh,
Tony was pounding the table for us, and Jim was like just no excitement. Like they're the worst crew of all time. Jim had zero excitement in his voice the entire game. It was horrendous.
No, Jim made it up for me with the Montgomery call when he screamed "Showtime." That was goosebumps when he yelled "Showtime" when they scored. I was like, "Oh, that was sweet."
I was like, I was wondering if like the volume was messed up for my game. It was like no excitement whatsoever. Just terrible. And Tony is so bad. Holy shit, is he bad?
When he was like losing his mind at the 2-minute warning. Oh, Jim, it's
the Jim. They're gonna look at that. There's 1 second. It's clear. And then they come back from commercial. They show a picture of the 1 second and the 0. Oh, but do you see that, Jim? It's clear.
Gene Steratore had to be so nice and like,
he's like, yeah.
No,
I mean,
Tony,
when
it's tenths of a second.
It's pretty close. Like they're not gonna call that. He's like, wow, great for Dan Campbell to know that. Holy shit, Tony. Just pipe down.
Another question. Do you guys think that James Houston will change the look of this pass rush? Because he's our only hope left on the roster to make a difference.
It'll help. It will help. Yes.
Evan, I know what you're thinking.
You can watch the last 6 games of last year and you
know what I'm thinking.
He can help.
Actually, I don't know if you know what I'm thinking. There might be.
You're thinking that we should have made
a
trade for somebody. And blah,
Oh, bing, 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 bing.
It was a bad week for us, Alex, because they were. I don't know if you saw us, but on like the recap shows, they already nicknamed the new. They call them the Gold Rush now. It looked awesome, and they had 6 sacks, I think, against the Jaguars.
Young and Bosa came in
the
together
Gold Rush, they're calling them.
and caused a fumble. I was like, I know Evan's going to say something about that.
Yeah, it was. I had heavy FOMO watching the Gold Rush go to work.
It is what it is. The guys on our team also need to be better.
Just if you think about it, though, on that D line, there's only 2 players that are good. Respectfully to all of them. Yeah, McNeil and Hutch are good football players, and the rest are like average at best into the below range.
That Okwara hands to the face penalty was so egregious. Like, what was he doing? Just smacked Herbert in the face.
And then I saw the replay. I was like, oh, I mean, that was warranted. That was
he literally just threw his arm up into his mouth. Like, dude, it's a clear rule. I was watching Hutchinson a little bit on Sunday.
And player watch. Mm-hmm. Just single it out. Player watch. Don't even ball watch anymore. Just player watch.
He did not have a good third quarter, but he did play a better in the fourth quarter.
You're dialed into his quarters?
Yeah, because I was watching the third. When they started just scoring every single possession in the third quarter, I was like watching Herbert just sit there and play 7-on-7. I was like, this is terrible. And so I was like, I got to blame someone, at least in my own head. So then I watched him. And he was not doing literally anything. He's getting doubled a lot, which is fine. Or we would rush like 3 and just sit in coverage and get torched. And it was disheartening, but he played well on the goal line at least. Like, he made some big pops on the 1-yard line and did some stuff in the run game.
He finished with 3 tackles. How many plays did he actually make?
Like 3.
He had some pressures. He stopped the drive on third down with the pressure.
Pressures. Here we go.
Throw it away.
The pressure shit was incredibly overrated because on one of his pressures, he just straight up whiffed on Herbert. And I was like, he's going to get a pressure for this. But Herbert like rolled out, got past him, and then completed for a first down. And Hutch will get a pressure on a first down.
But his one pressure was good because it led to an incompletion that would have been completed.
I know, but like, if we're going to continue to put this dude in the level we're putting, he has to be better. He has to. Or we're going to...
He could use some other people to pulse around him. I will say that. Yes, I agree. He needs to be better.
I watched Khalil Mack balling out all game, and he's like 40.
He made some plays all game, Alex. Did you watch the TikTok I sent?
No one on their defense balled out.
Okay, ball out was a little extreme, but he made some nice plays, and he's old.
There's like no one on their defense that's good.
He made nice run stops.
Respectfully.
Derwin
James could be, but he's addicted to roughing the interference.
Oh my god! Also, Tony on the final field goal. I thought Derwin was going to get in there. He's just going to so athletic. He jumped over the pile. I thought for sure he was going to block that.
So the difference with Quay Walker is you just can't touch a guy. If you don't touch anyone, you're illegal. But if you touch a guy, it's illegal.
Yeah.
Just pretty tough to do. If I was an offensive lineman, I would just stand up.
I think there's something along the lines like you can't hurdle your own guy too. Like I think you have to be like clear or something.
You can't leapfrog, maybe.
I think so. Something like that. I don't know.
My fantasy team's in a torture chamber.
My only other quick notes are my dad settled the Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Herman Moore debate because I was just curious and I texted him and I said, hey, is Amon-Ra better than Herman Moore? Because he's the other receiver that gets brought up with Calvin. And my dad's like, yep, he's way more versatile than Herman Moore. I was like, all right, settled it. Done. Might be recency bias. I have to watch Herman Moore highlights at some point to do him justice. But I keep saying second best receiver I've ever seen on the Lions. So I feel more comfortable about it now that I got confirmation from someone who was alive for Herman Moore.
Chris Durham.
Mike Williams.
Titus Young.
Question for you guys.
Answer.
Was that, and this is overreaction culture, but was that a top 3 Ben Johnson called game?
Well, Evan didn't watch the whole game start to finish. So he probably doesn't know all the Duffy plays.
That's true. I guess Alex then
I think he had the Chargers staff from watching like the highlights and a couple of videos. Oh wow.
Wow. I thought you just froze.
No. That's a touchdown.
breath was taken away.
I think Cortland Sutton just had one of the greatest all-time
I saw that like
moments of
10
all time.
seconds ago. I think you're a little behind me.
Of all time.
I think from watching the highlights and the videos, one of them that I sent today, he had the defensive staff for the Chargers in an absolute torture chamber. Just an absolute, they had no idea what to do. They literally had no idea what to do. And I think credit to the front office, the coaching staff, the versatility of Sam Laporta he is like George Kittle and Travis Kelce. He's that good, like basically already, because he's so versatile. If you put him out wide, they put him out wide, you're in 12 personnel and anything like that, 2 tight ends. You saw the defense are going to go heavy. Okay, we're just going to pass on you. Mm-hmm. Okay, we go in 3 wide. Okay, they're going to go in their dime package, nickel package, however you want to say it. Now we're just going to run the ball. But situations like that, I think Ben Johnson's just excelling at it, and just situations against the defense. And they don't. It seems like they don't make adjustments. It seems like the Chargers were not making adjustments at all.
They probably didn't know how. They're not very good.
Well,
I have to say
head
something.
coach's defense.
Yes, he's defense. He's supposed to be a defensive mastermind.
He's not very good.
He's got to be fired soon.
Oh, I don't think.
I need to say something directed at Grant and Cody. Last week or 2 weeks ago during Monday Night Football, Ben Johnson made a questionable trick play call that was wide open. That would have been a touchdown.
Monter had to throw the ball.
Would have been a touchdown. 3rd and 1 this week. They do the little fake handoff, Brock Wright touchdown. I know for a fact that if that ball was incomplete and it did not happen, you two are texting in the group chat, why wouldn't we grounded pound right there, blah, blah, blah. So I just want to know, you guys to know specifically that you can't have both. You need to stick to your guns and go one way or the other. But he makes risky calls every game. And when they work, you don't even act like he did anything wrong. You're talking about how he just had called the greatest game of his life. but when he does call a play and the players don't execute it and it didn't work, it's like, holy shit, what the Ben Johnson doing? He's going to be here another year. He just lost his head coaching job. I'm just so sick of you guys just doing this double standard all the time. It's ridiculous.
Just give me a second. I don't know where the plays.
Also, when they ran it on 4th and 5 or whatever for the first down, I know for a fact you guys would be like, "What the? Why'd we run that?" If
little fan pull around insert, man.
You'd be like, "What? Well, why'd we run the ball? Why wouldn't we throw it? It was 4th and 5." Yeah, I saw that. I mean,
that was definitely riskier.
Doinked it. But like, you just gotta trust Ben. But you can't shit on him when it doesn't work and praise him when it does. Like he's not changed. Right. He hasn't changed. He does this every game.
All right. Difference though, the differences in that is one. I looked back. It was second and 1 at the Las Vegas 7. So even
in
both cases,
to do it.
In both cases, you have chances to continue to get it if it goes wrong. The only difference though is like the risk reward of that. You're still having your quarterback throw the ball, and you're still asking a tight end to make the tight end catch. And it wasn't that crazy of a play. It's a tight end pop pass from 6th grade.
No,
football.
But like they could easily just ran it 1 yard and got a first down, and which is like exactly what you wanted them to do 2 weeks ago. You wanted them to run the ball.
Yeah, but
trick play. But it didn't work.
The floor of that play is not as low as the Amon-Ra pass back running 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage play. Like the floor of that play is Jared throws it away.
Amon could have done the same thing.
He could not have thrown the ball away.
He's a wide out.
He can't. He did not receive the snap. He can't throw the ball away.
But either way, Grant, he's one of the best. He's like arguably the best player on our team. And obviously, you or I would trust Amon to make the right play. He's not an idiot.
Yeah. It's also game flow, too. I mean, we could do whatever we want against the Chargers, and I feel
that
like
was
Raiders,
like
we
balls
were just
deep in that game. You could have easily just played it safe and got a first down and then went 3 plays at a touchdown.
The only difference is like
I just
in
want
the
you to
Raiders
admit
game,
that there's bias. When Ben Johnson's plays work, he's the greatest offensive coordinator ever. When they don't, you're like, oh, why?
No, because a play action pop pass is not a screen backwards lateral.
It was open
to throw a touchdown.
It was wide open. He just had to throw the football.
But it's all about putting the right guys in a position to succeed. And clearly, Amon-Ra, the lights were too bright.
They put the ball in Penny Sewell's hands against Minnesota. They threw a pass to him and completed a first down on 3rd down. And you thought that was the greatest thing ever. Everyone's like, oh my God, Ben Johnson is the best offensive coordinator in this league. Penny drops that.
Like live that my stomach turned over when I saw they were doing that. Like I was like, I don't know if we had to do that to get the 2 yards.
I can guarantee you did not come on this podcast to follow and be like, wow, that was a risky play call by Ben. I don't like it. You never said that.
I think I said it. I'm pretty sure I would have been like, that was an insane play call. Not like
awesome.
Necessarily in the best way too. Like that was a crazy play call.
I'm just saying, Ben does this shit every week. And when it doesn't work, you guys are awfully vocal about it. And when it does, you crown him the greatest offensive coordinator we've ever had. So
so we might lose him now.
I wasn't saying
this
week we're losing him. Next week when we put up 20 against Chicago, he's staying.
But that wasn't even the play I'm referring to. There were so many other
There's just a million times where this type of stuff happens, and you guys just he's the greatest or he's the worst. There's no in between with you guys. It's just ridiculous.
That's not true.
It's not even you're not as
really
extreme
good.
as that, but like someone else is, Cody, and I know you're listening to this.
No, I feel like I was most.
You were vocal about the
Raiders,
Raiders, and I was not happy about that. You're just doing my guy Ben dirty. It wasn't fair.
Jameson Williams quietly had a very nice game. I think there should be a new rule,
2 catches,
the Jameson Williams rule, for every sick downfield block he throws, he's allowed to drop a pass.
No, you can't drop passes as an NFL wide receiver.
I don't know. Those blocks.
CBS said we have the most drops in the NFL, or second most in the NFL. That's disgusting.
It's got to be second after this Bills performance they're putting on today.
Is Gabe Davis dropping passes?
Yeah, he dropped a pass and it led to an interception.
He's not even getting targeted.
Alex, I mean saying right through the hand.
If I lose 2 games in a row in fantasy football by like less than 10 points because Gabe Davis keeps blowing it for me, I'm going to be mad.
Fire sale.
No, there's no fire sale. My whole team's on bye this week.
I can't believe you took Gabe Davis. I tried to trade for Diggs the minute Wilkins got him because I thought maybe he's not attached to him. And he's like, I appreciate the effort, but I want to see like him and Brown play. And then I was like, I feared you want to get rid of Bill's receiver. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to try to get rid of Gabe Davis. I was like, yeah, I have no interest in him.
I mean, I traded peanuts for Gabe Davis. I just thought, he has a decent ceiling. Low floor, though, let me tell you.
No, but J-Mo's catches, no joke. They were like not easy catches. So it was good to see him.
1 catch. 2?
And should have been 3 for a touchdown. You should have had a touchdown.
That wasn't a pass. It was an end.
Yeah, it was
an end around.
But the one he had like on a comeback and he had to dive to the ground to get. It was a drag route across the field and he had to dive to get it. Yeah. Right. So I think we're trending up.
I hope so. He should be figuring it out at some point.
He's good across the middle, and he's not on slants, on like drags, curling drag routes. And
you cannot catch an 80-mile-an-hour fastball from Jared Goff. He can't catch that.
No slants, slants. He'll never catch it. Hitches, really. No, yeah.
He would be Kadarius Toney in the Chiefs offense. Just drop.
And then last but not least, guys, do you have any concern with Dan Campbell being a candidate for the Texas A&M job?
I literally saw that Sunday afternoon. I instantly got pissed. I was like, the absolute stupidity of people thinking, well, he did play there. He is the head coach in the National Football League.
The first thing I said
what's
to the
easier?
Texas A&M guy this morning was that don't even ask me about that because it's never going to happen.
It's pretty easy to
You're not gonna leave
coach
the NFL.
a roster that is given to you instead of flying around the country trying to convince kids that our school is better than the other 5-star schools.
Colton Pouncey said it best. He's like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to leave a successful NFL team that's 7-2 to go finish 4th in the SEC West every year?
So
yeah, it makes a
stupid.
lot of sense. They'd probably pay him more.
All right.
Oh God, they would give him.
I laughed it off too.
They would have to give him like a gajillion dollars.
They would give him like $14 to $15 million a
Alumni.
year.
I don't think Dan would ever even remotely consider that.
I'd never recover if he left for that.
I would hate
I
him.
would never
I would
recover.
hate him if he did. It'd be so stupid. You'd leave the pinnacle of the sport to go coach Texas A&M.
I don't think he's attached to Texas A&M like some people are, like to their alma mater. I don't think he never talks about
especially
it.
with how
He
weird
never wears
culty they are.
anything.
Yeah.
You never see him at any of the games or anything like that.
No, I mean, I think anybody that makes it to the NFL and is a successful head coach doesn't dip out for college football. It's just not how it works.
We're gonna call 'em.
They don't do that.
Yeah. If you're
They go back to
right.
college
You're
after they
successful, you're
fizzle
not.
out
They
in the
fail.
NFL. That's
When
what they
you
do.
fail in
Yes.
the NFL, you go back to the
Then
bottom.
you can go to
That's
college.
what college football is.
RTF, baby.
And no one
RTF
wants to
power flag.
recruit. Jesus, recruiting sucks. No one ever wants to do that.
Connor Stallions would leave a successful NFL job to be the
He's a
Michigan
freak.
coach.
Man. Let's just go 1 week without talking about him.
He should be in an asylum.
You should.
Let's get into college football. Big picture, no Michigan in this. Yes or no for you guys to start this segment right now? Yes or no?
Yes, Georgia
Does
will
Texas
three-peat.
make the playoff
Oh.
this year?
My bad.
Does
Oh.
Texas make the playoff?
No.
Oh, Evan, that hurts.
Oh, my bad.
They fizzle, they lose.
Oh, Dalton Kincaid, Grant. Ouch.
Did he score?
Yeah, touchdown.
I had him anytime touchdown score.
Boom, cash that ticket.
Really needed a Gabe Davis
catch it.
catch on that.
I
drive,
just don't think because I think other people are gonna. Shit, dude, they're gonna want money. I honestly think it's.
What are you talking about?
I'm trying to. I have this thing where I'm about to say something, then I think of something else, and I'm like, well,
You think
no,
the college
that's not
football
possible.
playoff just cares about money, and so you think if Texas is close, they'll want to bring in.
Why do you think Ohio State got in over TCU?
Well, because they're better and they won the national championship.
Oh, so you're not even saying that Texas? You think Texas is going to lose, Evan? You think one loss Texas will miss?
No, I think one loss Texas would make it. They would have to lose.
Grant,
but
are you
I'm
just
saying,
asking straight up, is Texas going to make the playoff? Like, I have to predict.
yeah,
win out
that's what he's
and stuff?
asking.
Yeah, just yes or no. Like your gut feel, is that team going to make? Because they've been skating a tightrope.
No, I
They don't
think
score
right
points
now,
in the third and fourth quarter. No.
right now, Oregon is a top 4 team in the country. Right now, Alabama's playing as a top 5, top 6 team in the country right
Top 4.
now.
Easy.
I don't know about that, Alex.
No, Texas will not make the playoff. Grant, you're in.
And so my thing is like, okay, if Texas is one loss Big 12 champion, then you have to compare them to a one loss
Oregon or Washington.
Bama.
Oregon and Washington. So
No.
it's one of those things where Texas's brand would get them into the playoff, and there's no other way around it.
They're not making it. They're not going to go 11-1 or 12-1. They're not going to. They're going to lose a game.
I think they miss because they lose.
too.
I think if they do stay one loss, I think they'll have a good shot because
If they stay one loss, I think they have a very good shot because, well, they better hope that Alabama doesn't beat Georgia. They need to go straight chalk, and you better hope Washington beats Oregon. Then they'll definitely.
yeah. And to that point, Gabe Davis
2-point conversion.
live. Oh, okay.
2 points. That's huge, Grant. I was in a tied match.
These 2 points I have go together, and then I'll tee up the last point of big picture. But for me, at least, this weekend on paper could have been that classic college football weekend where it's not the premier matchups, but there's these like little pesky matchups where maybe someone springs an upset, and we just didn't get
get
this
it.
weekend.
Did not get it.
So didn't get it. Haven't gotten it all year, and this is what's shaping up to be. Like people talk about the 12-team playoff. Just buckle up because these next 3 weeks and 4 weeks are the 12-team playoff, just in regular season form, because I pulled comparisons from last year and this year. So last year at this time, week 12, entering week 12 of college football, there was only 4 undefeated teams, and those two, Michigan and Ohio State, had to play each other still. And then you had 1 loss Tennessee, you had 1 loss USC, 1 loss Clemson, who wasn't very good, and then a 2-loss LSU and 2-loss Alabama. So bear with me. So we had 4 undefeateds, a smattering of 1-loss teams, a couple 2-loss teams in the top 10. This year, you have 5 undefeateds remaining, and then you have 4 1-loss teams right behind them. And 3 of them, I would say, are pretty significant 1-loss teams in Oregon, Texas, and Alabama. And then you have Louisville, who still only has 1 loss, but they're out. Basically.
Not out. They can easily just win
Not out,
the ACC.
Not out, but
if they win the ACC,
if they
they're
make
not
the
making
playoff, I will do something. Yeah, I will do something
If
drastic.
Louisville
They
goes
have the
12-1 and all
playoff.
those teams lose, they're going to make the playoff.
Well, not all those teams are going to lose.
Easily.
Alex, if Louisville makes the playoff,
I can give you a
something
scenario
crazy.
where Louisville makes it on the spot. Easy.
Sure, I bet you can, but it won't happen.
Ohio State has a
Alabama loses to Auburn. Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC title game, so although they all have 2 losses because Peyton Thorne had the best quarterback in the country.
No, Georgia would only have 1 loss.
Oregon.
So they'd go.
Washington loses to Oregon State this week. Oregon loses to Oregon State next week. Dead. Pac-12 dead.
Gosh, you're doing a bunch of what ifs.
No, Washington would still go because they'd win the Pac-12.
And then
One
Washington
loss.
loses in the Pac-12 championship to Oregon State, and then Oregon State's the Pac-12 champion with 2 losses. Holy
Oregon State gets
shit!
in.
Craziness.
yeah, we were talking about something that's just not going to happen.
Well, I'm just saying there is a possibility of how this would happen.
Alex, the
I just
possibility of
knocked out
Louisville
14.
winning
You threw a
one
wrench-
game.
You just threw a wrench in this, Alex.
Just saying it could happen.
Louisville's dead. The point was Louisville is not.
Louisville's
contender, they're a
not dead.
pretender.
They only have 1
Alex,
loss.
Ohio State would get in. Michigan would get in with 1 loss over a Louisville ACC
There are
champion.
those I already accounted for the Big Ten. The Big Ten's already in.
And Georgia. One
No,
loss.
because they're going to lose this weekend.
He said that they're going to lose this weekend, and Alabama's going to lose to Auburn, and then
Because-
Alabama's
only
going
because
to
of
beat
Peyton
Georgia.
Who's Georgia losing to this weekend?
Tennessee at Tennessee.
No chance.
All right,
Joe
fine.
Milton. Joe Milton beats Georgia. I'll do something.
Alex,
I could
It's
eat
Missouri.
even if you put
Dick.
Georgia in, Michigan or Ohio State in, and one other team that you want.
turn this into a Louisville.
I could still find a million scenarios of how Louisville could get in because a bunch of other teams lose. The Pac-12
No,
can
it's
still
money.
That's fine.
The Pac-12 can easily play themselves out of it because they all have to play each other the last 2 weeks.
This is not the point.
Just
Alex.
saying,
This is not even the point I was trying.
college football chaos.
All right, you know what?
Always
Alex,
happens.
I think you're actually helping Grant and I's case because how much
It's
chaos there
very
is,
unlikely.
Louisville's not getting in.
But like you guys said, there has been not enough chaos this year, and then 1 week it's gonna happen where just absolute
it's
banana
not
shit's
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen.
Not going to happen.
Just look
You know
back
what,
to that
Alex?
crazy
Fine.
year,
For
Evan.
the sake of this argument, Jeff Brown
Missouri
gets
and
to win the
Kansas.
trophy this year.
Alex,
Point going into
2007
this-
was chaos from the kickoff of the
Yeah,
season.
but the last 2 weeks were crazy.
From the absolute first kickoff, Alex. This year has not been chaos.
That's why it's gonna come. USC was a lock for the playoff last year, and they blew it, and they lost. Teams stink. Teams
What is
blow it,
interesting-
their asses start to get tight.
What is really shaping up is like it truly is a 9 or 10 team playoff taking place because of those 9 teams that I listed off, they all have to play each other in some capacity except for Texas. So every team in that list will have to play each other.
Another reason
Going
why
down the
Louisville
stretch
can
here.
somehow find their way in. Just beat up on each other. Louisville just sneaks in the back door.
Louisville still has to beat Florida State.
Yes. Agreed.
And you're also
I would-
not considering
I
that
would put
Louisville
this
has
percentage
the
at-
worst loss compared to everybody we are talking about.
Yeah, I would put this
the worst
percent
loss,
at
one of the worst losses in college football.
1%. All I'm saying is not 0.
Who did Louisville lose?
They lost to Pitt, who's 2-7 right now.
Listen,
They got Narduzzi.
Louisville's not going to make it, and I want to make that clear. But I'm just saying you can't just say there's a 0% chance because there's not.
There's a 0% chance.
And the takeaway that the listener should have
Is that it's
from
going
that
to take a
whole
lot of
debacle
chaos.
is that no, this year is just top heavy in the sport compared to last
Louisville
year.
included,
It's a very
yes.
top heavy year. It's been really chalk. And the last thing, looking ahead, because there wasn't a ton nationally from this week, is that Evan, are you going to Corvallis this weekend? No, you're at Deer Camp. But will you be watching Corvallis?
I'm going to have to be.
the game of
Not
the week.
only-
I was
The game of the
what was
Not
it?
only is
I was
that
watching the end of the Utah-Washington game, and they sprinkled that in at the end saying, ooh, and Washington has to go to Corvallis next weekend. And I perked up. I got excited.
Top 10 matchup it will be after
And
tomorrow.
also-
night's
62
Oregon
points.
State will be top 10.
Well, that was Stanford.
My beefs, and my quarterback DJ.
And
Oh my
not
God, I
only
can put on
that,
a
Evan,
show.
but that's your head coach. Your head coach is in Corvallis.
ABC.
Because
He
that
doesn't
man is
want to
gonna-
leave. That
30.
is
That man is coaching in East Lansing next year.
nah.
Wow.
It's Brian Harbaugh.
Breaking.
They're not even interviewing him.
No, I actually did the interview for Alan Haller. He sold me. It was a lot.
Jonathan Smith, head coach, Michigan State University, leaving his alma
not
mater.
leaving Oregon State.
They don't have a conference.
I mean, really, besides that game, there's not much on of significance. Evan's Mike's doing that sound again.
Is it
But
really?
it always goes away.
It's done it like 6 times.
yeah, but it
just
goes
looks
away.
like really fast.
Don't touch anything, Evan. It's fine. It's just fast. To be honest, like next week, it's not. I wouldn't say apple picking season, but there's not a ton outside of
little
that
cold
one
for
game
that.
that is sparking my interest. I think Georgia will destroy Tennessee because of Joe Milton, like I
I
said.
agree.
But
Tennessee got by Missouri this week.
that could be a dead dog spot for Tennessee. They bounce off the mat and they make it close. And if there's anything about Georgia that they cannot defend well, it's a running quarterback, and maybe Joe stretches out those legs.
Well, I thought Georgia
just
would
bulldozers.
slightly struggle. I thought they'd win last week, and they just
They
absolutely
struggled the first 2 possessions. and after
murdered
that,
the
they-
lane train. After Grant tried to make a statement that Georgia wasn't that great. Wrong.
No, I asked last week, is it the Georgia Invitational? Because it feels
You
like
said last week, this weekend, it seems significant that Brock Bowers is out. And then they absolutely punished Ole Miss the rest of the game.
Oh, you didn't read. I said it seems significant that Brock Bowers is playing football again.
He's playing?
Yeah, he scored a
playing.
touchdown.
He's back from his hairline fracture.
Holy
4
shit,
weeks.
That is significant.
Alex,
Did you not read in the text?
He was
The
too
best
busy
college football players back.
shooting tequila.
I got excited.
Yes, like they're
I
back.
thought Grant said it's significant he's not playing because I didn't read the full text. And then I thought you said he's the best college football player. I didn't know that you said he's back. I just missed the last 2 words of each text.
Because I feel like his return was so quiet and kept secret.
Yeah,
that he was
considering
just
I didn't
playing
even know
again.
he was playing, yes, I would say that is accurate.
He did the Tua Tagovailoa ankle tightrope ankle surgery. He's just back.
That game
playing
wasn't
tight
on
end.
a TV in the bar. That's disgusting. It was on one TV.
That's wild. It was
and so
on-
I couldn't.
It was CBS. It was CBS Nike.
It was not CBS.
It was ESPN, 7 o'clock.
Grant,
Kirk and
CBS gets
No.
one SEC night game a year, and it's Alabama
was on-
LSU.
There was a CBS triple header.
It was not that game.
CBS did not have a triple header. They have one
Fox had
SEC
a
night
triple
game
header.
a year.
Fox had
One.
a triple. It was the
Every year.
ESPN. Kirk's dog was laying around on the grass during
Yeah,
the
it was
pregame. That's what got
ABC.
me excited.
Or it was ESPN.
You're right.
It was ESPN
You're right.
at 7.
Because
Kirk and Chris called that game.
ABC doesn't get SEC games.
ABC had a triple
I
header.
feel like there was a CBS night game.
There isn't a CBS night game for SEC football except Alabama and LSU. Ever.
Okay, I was gonna say I know that one was CBS.
That's the only one every year. Are you listening?
Damn.
The Big Ten gets the CBS night slot now.
What was I watching on CBS though?
Oh my God.
Maybe I wasn't.
NCIS.
Oregon State is 2-point favorites.
What?
Yes.
That's
Oregon State's
Yeah.
2-point favorites.
That's our head coach, Evan.
Washington has looked very beatable. I'll say that.
That's our head coach.
Until they have a month off and they're healthy for the playoff game, Grant.
Oh, Evan.
yeah, we'll get there when we get there, Evan. They may not be in
It's a
it.
shame
might
that
not be in
Jonathan
it.
Smith is
They
going to
lose.
Congrats.
leave
You,
before his
according to
team
Alex
plays in a bowl.
Grant, Michigan will be playing Louisville, so congrats on the win.
Oh my God, that
Championship
so sick.
rematch. Jeff Brom. Facing
No,
Michigan
we
again.
wouldn't be the 1 seed. Georgia would be the 1 seed, unless they lose to Alabama.
Jeff Brom gets redemption against.
All right, let's get into Michigan's football season finally starting. I have some questions for you guys. I don't know where you want me to start. I'm sure you guys have some jokes to get off. It seemed like everyone was having their spends at the Wolverines.
The funniest thing about
That
this
day
whole
was
weekend is
fine.
you saying you got goosebumps from his speech after the game, and that was the most dramatic thing I have ever seen in my life. It's
Caught in the
it's
moment,
top
Alex.
level.
It's caught at
If
the moment.
you cannot seriously think him pretending that they're victims and then crying for his coach that was 15 minutes away in a hotel room. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing. If any other school in the world did that, Grant, you would be flaming them flaming them. But you got goosebumps.
I don't think so.
Oh, please. Grant. You cried about Ryan Day and the Lou Holtz stuff. This is worse. This is more ridiculous.
No, because it wasn't like I feel like it was a more wholesome moment. It wasn't him like calling
pretending
out.
to be the victims from cheating is wholesome.
No, like let's
acting like a guy's dead. And he's 5 minutes away in a hotel room.
Throw that aside.
No, you can't throw that aside.
That's
like, what it's about.
No, because like put yourself in Sharon Moore's shoes. This is my thoughts that I've been having the weekend of this chaos that was Friday on the soap opera that it all turned into. Is like we have to remind ourselves as fans that sports is not reality. Like people use sports as metaphors for life, but like in sports, I had this thought in my head. Remember after Georgia won the national title last year? And they interviewed Nolan Smith in Street Clothes. And he was like, oh, you that said we were going to be 7-5. Look what we proved you. And we all laughed at him. Like, what are you talking about? But it clicked in me that moment that like in sports, you literally as a team just have to grasp for straws to make yourself feel like a victim or feel like people are against you in some way. And for Michigan, as much as like you can laugh at the fact that they inflicted this own adversity on themselves because they did it to themselves. Like they have to use this as a galvanizing force. And you have like, that's just what sports is. It doesn't make sense. It's not real life. Like you just have to internalize it and make yourself pissed off because you have to have an edge in competition like this. So with that as the backdrop of how I'm viewing this, imagine the pressure though that Sharon Moore felt going into that game, like peeing down his leg, lack of a better term, how nervous you had to feel. Like all eyes are on you. You're the head coach. You were an offensive line coach. How many offensive line coach actually get to become an OC in sports? Typically, it's always a skill position coach, quarterback coach. So he probably owes a lot to Harbaugh for being a sicko when it comes to running the football. I'm like, oh, I'll make my O-line coach the OC. That's a huge bump in itself. And like, if you lose that game, you lose all sense of controlling your own destiny in the sport. Like you have to rely on the Big Ten West to be the tiebreaker for you. So I feel like he had a lot of pressure on himself through that game. And yeah, like the crying, like it was ugly crying, but that's just how he was in the moment. I understand. Yes, I totally get why people are making fun of it. I totally get it. I'm just saying as a fan of the team who also like, you just have to take all the crap coming at you for cheating, but you start to like just rally around the team playing on the field. I felt happy for him in that moment. In a weird, twisted way, but that's like kind of what sports are.
I mean, I think you said it well. I totally understand what you're saying. It's not going to take away from the fact that Michigan blatantly cheated and then now are pretending that they're the victims and all this. And Jim also in his presser today basically echoed the same thing, that they're like victims and they're now America's team, blah, 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 whatever he said. I don't really care. Not my problem. Don't care. Not going to get into it this week. But I mean, it's a little like, I get it. You have to spin it in whatever ways possible. But like, the dude started bawling his eyes out, saying that's my, like, it's like TO level. That's my coach. Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit.
Yeah, it's awesome. I loved it.
Dude, I know in your head in this moment, you're like, oh, yeah, it's only because it's not only because it's Michigan, blah, blah, blah. I would feel this way about anyone. If it was anybody, any other coach, any other team, all the same circumstances, you would 1,000% be like, what the f-? You just would.
A little over the top, no doubt.
No, if you put all of it and it was a different team. Let's just completely make this as difficult as possible for you. This entire thing is Ohio State. And then Ohio State, Brian Hartline, who after you watched, do his little pump-up speech, which you make fun of all the time, by the way. You mention it quite a bit. You watch Brian Hartline after beating Penn State, not Alabama, not some like just massively awesome team. Like we all know Penn State's not – I mean, they're a good football team. They have a good defense. Their offense is garbage regardless. Brian Hartline steps up. He starts saying that he's a victim, blah, blah, blah. Jim Harbaugh or Ryan Day is his guy who you just hate Ryan Day to begin with as well.
I don't want to cut you off, but he never.
No, he
did not say we are victims in his thing. He just said he loved Jim Harbaugh. That's all he said.
I'm more so talking about Jimmy's comments today, but that's not the same thing. So you're right. But either way, Brian Hartline does that and just crying how much he loves Ryan Day. You're not going to come on this podcast and tell me exactly what you just said. No, you're going to come on here and you're going to tell me that they're absolute losers, blah, blah, blah. And then blah, blah. Evan will try to like say that it's a rallying cry probably because Evan's like closet Ohio State guy. And then and he loves Brian Hartline, so he'll definitely buy Hartline. And then, but I'm just saying, like, yes, you are entitled to whatever you think, but you are fully biased in this, just like me saying last week I was not biased about Jim Harbaugh, which I totally am. You are fully biased in this situation. You would never think this is cool if it was another team, especially if it was Ohio State. You would be laughing. And you'd probably be angry about it, if anything.
I would certainly make jokes. Like, I thought the screenshots you took and sent, that's funny. Like, I get it. It's an ugly cry face. I totally get that.
It just helps that it was an ugly cry.
I do think I would still have in the back of my head, though, that I understand now. That Georgia clip when he was like 7 and 5.
He's a player, though. This is a grown-ass adult. And it's not just sports for these adults. They're getting paid. This is their profession. Like, full on. Like, this is their livelihood.
Teams will just, like, I've learned teams will just make up whatever they can.
They do
like
that.
Michael Jordan made up stories about people talking crap to him that didn't
Michael
exist
Jordan didn't come on TV and
himself.
start crying about how much he loves his coach. Like, yes, all of the stuff you're saying is fine, but like it's pretty dramatic to start crying and acting like your coach is dead because it's clearly not the case.
Yeah.
And I think you would think that
it's also too like
anywhere else.
And it's also just the guy. Like if they had interviewed Jesse Minter, probably not crying and saying the same thing. It might just be that's who Sharon Moore is in a way, which is
you're also
for Fox. They got to ran with
so
that
invested in this team and everything around it that's happened. Like you're practically like have the same emotion level as these people too. So like, of course,
I'm in the 100%. I'm in the bunker. I was thinking about today. Like it's like World War II that I wasn't alive for. I'm in like the artillery bunker, just surrounded because the only people I could even talk to that remotely will like entertain any sort of conversation is other Michigan fans. Because any other person I try to talk to, it was like, yeah, them. They deserved like the death penalty. It's like, all right, like there's no middle ground here that I'm just in the bunker with my hard hat on trying to get through this so I can come out the other side.
The problem is that everyone, you have us on the one side who we're completely over dramatic about it probably. And then you guys on the other side just completely dramatic about it. So we're just all riding the extreme. We're basically just the United States at this point. We're just riding the extremes. And then we need to find some people in the middle.
And I was talking to Marissa about it on Saturday morning because she I'm trying to explain it like pretty down the middle, like just saying this is what one side thinks, this is what the other thinks. And then she's like, oh, okay, I see. We get to the game and Fox is just blowing it out of the wire. Like they let it, like Gus Johnson.
Dude, Gus Johnson said 30 times.
Because they were without Jim Harbaugh.
Dude, it's the fourth quarter, Gus. We know. We know he's not there.
And then Marissa's like, oh, this is just making me hate Michigan even more. Like the fact they keep making it seem like it's such a big deal. I'm like, well, that's not Michigan's fault. That is because it gets clicks and every media outlet is running with this.
Michigan's fault because Michigan is the media.
No, well,
it's a joke. I'm saying it's Michigan's fault because they did it to themselves.
The media,
because they cheated.
Yes, but the media part of just making this even insane. And the Big Ten, also their fault for adding the layer of how they did it on Friday, just added this crazy storm around it that didn't have to exist. And again, if this was Purdue, Paul Feinbaum's not on ESPN talking about Purdue
But
football.
I don't think that's even
like it's just.
I mean, because we talked about that. Like it does. It's Michigan.
But I'm
that's why
saying
it
the reason we're so sick of it. Yes, we're so sick of it even more because the media is just making it seem like it's the most serious thing of all time.
I mean, you don't really get major scandals in college football with major programs. You usually don't get that. That's why. While the team is very good.
I think we do.
You don't get that many scandals.
I have one question for you.
But off field, like Penn State was same level of
I understand. I'm saying that, but I'm saying, okay, we're talking, okay.
That Penn State was very,
Zach
very,
Smith.
very bad.
Zach Smith, he did a sit down with Tom Rinaldi and was like, I'm a changed man.
Well, that guy was also like that guy's borderline Connor Stalions, like psychopath level.
and like did actual like
But those two I remember vividly were like
those are like
Urban got suspended
full
for
on.
3
You're
games,
going to prison
and he
crimes. Grant, Michigan, no one's going to jail.
But this is being treated with the same level of like
sort of, but like maybe that has to do with like the fact that we just talked about how there's just not a lot of chaos going on in college football. It's kind of boring.
I think that's a good point. Alex, the games have been kind of so
now I have a question for
something. The lull.
I don't know if you want to get into the penalty and all that, so your choice. I'll let you decide.
There's a best case scenario. It is literally the best case scenario. Second
Agreed,
best case scenario.
But not my question.
I mean, best case would be a fine.
Yeah, that's why I said I question myself. It's the
either way, the penalty not horrendous. But I do have a question. Do you remember the Ohio State tattoo scandal by chance?
It's so vague in my brain, like barely, but it's so vague.
I lived with the Ohio State.
What exactly
fan.
happened? Just for the people, can you describe
what exactly
Ohio
happened?
State did and what
to dumb it down?
For?
Oh,
the players had memorabilia from their championships / whatever they won. They don't need it. They are selling it to make money to purchase something else. While those businesses gave them discounts basically as an NIL, but they're giving money or memorabilia so they can get something in return. Illegal. You can't get gifts from being a student athlete.
Now with Evan's synopsis there, great job, Evan. Grant, do you view the Michigan-Ohio State things as one is worse than the other? If so, which one? Or
in today's society, Ohio State's would not be as bad as Michigan.
I'm not really asking that. I'm just saying that at the time versus at the time of this one, knowing what we know.
I mean, if we're playing it by how everyone's, I personally don't think either is that.
Yeah, I agree.
Insane of a deal.
Agreed. But like, which one do you think?
But if we're doing it by the letter of the law, what I've learned is that if you break a rule, it doesn't matter how silly or dumb it is. You got to be punished severely. So I guess both. If you're breaking rules.
Well, in that sense, their following season got a straight up bowl ban. If that were to happen, and by the way, they went 12-0 with their bowl ban, so they missed out on a national championship. If that would have been the penalty for this, would you have not like just been an absolute ball of enraged fire? Like,
no.
So you think a 2024 bowl ban is
playoff
is
ban.
reasonable?
Yeah, totally fine with that. Totally fine with it.
That's big of you to admit that.
Grant's in the moment now. He knows his team is way better than what next year is going to be.
I can't even see 2024. I can't see.
You have a new quarterback, new running back, 3 new offensive linemen.
My grand point of this whole thing is that Harbaugh's being suspended 3 games for the, not even saying 2, for the Michigan fans out there that are like, oh my God, absolute ridiculous penalty, blah, blah, blah. As Evan said, it can be so much worse. And I know like you guys act like 2024 doesn't matter to you, blah, blah, blah. It might in 2024 matter to you. But either way, I'm just saying the penalty could have been so much harsher, and it's been seen that a similar type of violation got probably a worse penalty considering that they were 12-0 the following season. So, but maybe be grateful.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing that to light. It's good to compare these things. What is the biggest thing that has just gotten me in the bunker with everyone is not the penalty. I know a lot of the fan base is gone off the deep end saying like it's not a big deal at all. I'm totally fine with them being punished severely for cheating, for running an elaborate scheme. That is totally fine. My biggest gripe is that we overstepped the judicial system. The investigation is ongoing, but we're already throwing down a unprecedented hammer in the middle of the year. And also the way they did it on Friday mid-flight is so cowardly. They didn't even call Michigan. Jim Harbaugh found out because someone showed him on the bus when they landed from social media that you are suspended. They told Pete Thamel first. It's just a biggest move by a conference that is allegedly supposed to have your back. And I was fine if the Big Ten suspended them after the season or waited for the facts to play out. They just went on an absolute witch hunt against one of their biggest institutions in the middle of the year, which is just the classic thing that we talked about last week is you're innocent until guilty, and they are doing guilty until innocent. And Michigan hasn't even been able to defend themselves in court yet. It's just totally an insane situation. And that is what has driven me crazy, where fine, give if they gave the death penalty, which would be insane to do, but if they just did that after they had got all the facts, I could stomach it a little bit more than just jumping to conclusions after like a week and a half of investigation, not interviewing any coaches, doing a Zoom call where people bitched about it, and then you suspend them for 3 games just to make people happy. It's so soft, and Petitti is spineless for doing so.
Well, it's because they broke the sportsmanship policy, so you don't have to worry about due process. The investigation doesn't matter. The commissioner can step in and do punishment as seen fit. That's why there's no such thing as due process with this case. Okay, the Big Ten commissioner stepping in because they're cheating. They thought it was severe enough that he can decide what he wants to do. So this whole due process bull crap, I'm sick of hearing that because a lot of the Michigan fans are too stupid to understand what due process means to begin with.
It's true. It's just sad, though.
I'm glad you finally said something you felt
had to do.
It only took 4 weeks, but here we are.
I do get that's why they have that loophole in it, and it's fine for him to use it. I just completely disagree with it. And but then part of me, there's also the part of Grant. I do respect that he's being totally petty back. You know, I understand like Michigan has not been easy to cooperate with. So Petitti's like, it almost was a villain move. I kind of did respect it in a weird, sick way that he waited until the last minute, did it after Harbaugh already traveled. Like he almost was like a villain, and they're going back against each other. That the pettiness of it, I do kind of respect. It's just against the team I root for. So
my favorite,
but I do understand.
Continue if you're not done. I thought you're done.
I don't really have much.
My favorite thing about this whole part
because it's
just like makes me laugh. Like I think it's so funny, and you know, you guys definitely don't. Michigan fans don't think it's funny, but I think it's hilarious. Like all the Michigan fans, and just like threatening, basically saying like, like the NCAA and the Big Ten and the commissioner and blah blah blah. They have no idea what's coming. Blah blah blah. They're gonna take him down. Yada 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 yada. All this other stuff. I just think it's funny. And I don't like disagree with them or agree with them. I really don't care. I just think it's funny when like the classic reaction to like getting a penalty is that, oh, you will pay for this. Like as you said earlier, this is just sports. So it's not that deep usually. It's really like it's not going to alter our lives for the rest. It shouldn't. It definitely does. I will say that. It definitely alters our lives more than it should. But like acting like you're going to like go in and like how do I put this as PG? I can't really. So I'm just going to say like basically act like you're going to go assassinate the Big Ten commissioner because of what he did.
January
like,
6th, baby.
It's funny to me. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's over the top, but that's what makes sports great. Like you said, you know, people are just so passionate and committed that they're willing to do January 6th type stuff to a Big Ten commissioner who just felt that Jim deserved a suspension. It's funny to me. I don't really have an opinion on it either way. I just find it funny.
It does become real and have real ramifications, though. Like as fans, we can't really do anything other than just like
or like storm the Capitol,
tweet, whatever.
Like they're playing.
Storm the Capitol. But if you piss off the wrong people, which it fully appears to me, like following just the Nuggets, like the respect in this like situation is totally gone. You have like both sides releasing really disrespectful things about each other. Like both sides just do not care about the relationship anymore. And it's too early in the process. And I believe I heard someone was talking about when Ohio State got in trouble that they threatened leaving the conference and never did. So maybe that's all it is for Michigan is a veiled threat. But it's pretty documented now from like well plugged in sources that the Board of Regents and the higher ups in Michigan have actually had like legit discussions about potentially leaving the conference, which I'm not saying is good or bad. Yeah. And I expect everyone to say that, but that actually would impact our lives as fans because that just changes who we play for the rest of our lives.
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't be a little sad that you don't have the Paul Bunyan rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, I would be a little disappointed about it, but like at the end of the day, if like
I'd be a little disappointed about it, but
if you feel that the Big Ten like wronged you that bad because Jim Harbaugh missed 3 football games, then I think you're ridiculous. And see you later. Because like I get it. I can see like if I was in the situation, I would probably be pissed off too. But to
Jim Harbaugh missed 9 hours of work. He missed one full day.
To leave the conference over that, which you, by the way, are about to win 3 times in a row. Like you got a pretty good gig here. And besides this year, everybody pretty much loves Michigan for the most part. They get a lot of, you know, I wouldn't say special treatment, but I'm hinting at special treatment. They do okay. They don't usually struggle in the public eye.
Are you saying until the scandal hit? Or are you saying like
No,
the
not during the
scandal as
scandal.
well? I'm confused.
No. Up until that happened.
Okay.
I said up until this point. They up until this
National
year,
media, they're taking national media, they're taking a blow.
was pretty happy
Local
with him.
media,
The local
is-
media, like they were not.
And I could give two shits what Paul Feinbaum thinks,
Right.
honestly. Like he's
So,
a-
like I said,
I mean, he makes more money than me. I should be jealous, but like
if
I
three
really don't
football
care what he says.
games, and I get it, one of
Don't
them's
get me
Ohio
started on
State,
Devin Dinich,
but
too.
if 3 football games puts Michigan over the edge that they're just going to straight up leave the Big Ten Conference, then yeah, see ya. Like I'll get over my disappointment.
But you could also see the world though, where like if it was one of us and you're an AD or president and you're power hungry, egotistical, you probably would just be so pissed off. Like you're in the bunker with everyone.
I
but
think
you
it's
actually
I
have
think
the
it's a
power
soft
to
move
make
to
that
just
decision.
leave, personally. I personally wouldn't do it because that's a cowardly move to just like be like, oh yeah, we're too good for this, we're just gonna leave. But it honestly, it fits the Michigan
I see
mantra,
that.
so might as well. We're too good for this shit.
It's
So
part
see ya.
soft, but also it's also part power too to be like, hey, like if you piss us off, leave and see how you do. Like money wise, like good luck in a sketchy time.
You
of
want to go
college football.
finish 4th in the SEC West every year? Go ahead.
I mean, maybe you take a hit on field and then you got to
Basketball team.
I think
probably
recruiting
do
would be
okay
fun.
in the SEC. They're top heavy.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Baseball would
personally, if I
stink.
had my way of how they would, I think someone floated
Wouldn't have
this
a
out
hockey
in a
team
text, and I
anymore.
was like, oh, actually, I was like, that would be cool if they did this. So credit to whoever came up with this idea. They're like, if they win the Big Ten, they don't go to the podium to celebrate. They just go right to the locker.
I could safely say if I was
That
the Big
would
Ten
be fun.
commissioner, I would let them walk if they were like threatening it. I wouldn't care.
The way that Jim Harbaugh works, I swear he will go up there and
Two-faced
Evan,
Jimmy.
I need that interaction so
Yeah.
bad. I need him to.
The only thing I'm actually
or just don't
disappointed
accept
about.
it. Or I would just go in the locker.
I would actually cheer
disappointed.
for.
But he
I would
won't-
actually,
he won't
I would
be there.
actually applaud them if they just like did just like somebody go get
Yes,
it,
just
somebody
go
go
in the
get it,
locker
and then bring it to the locker
Yeah.
room.
That would be.
And then
that
just
would be
Tell
fun.
Tony to bring it if he wants to give it. Oh, it'd be so good.
Why is? Have you seen the TV?
Joe
Joe
Buck and
Buck
Troy
was
Aikman are talking.
Waving like this for like a good 10 seconds. It's super weird.
I missed that.
The only thing I'm actually
Um,
disappointed about is that Jim won't be on the sideline for Ohio State. He still could be, I guess. You know, whatever that could happen.
He might be.
Because I really
wanna see that.
really want to see a Ryan Day Jim Harbaugh interaction. I mean, I think we're trending towards tunnel incident number 2 this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
That game's usually on the field though. That usually
Yeah,
is
there's
gas
some
fights on the
serious bad blood this year. I mean, there's always a lot of
That's
bad
gonna
blood,
be an
but this is
all-time-
like a lot.
all-time
This
game.
is like get your
Oh, yeah.
popcorn ready. I'm more excited
That's
for
why
this
Jim's
game
gotta be-
than any Michigan State game we've had this year because we've been so shitty.
I have no intel, blind read. I like 70% in my gut thinks that they flipped this over on court on Friday, and I think he coaches the last 2, and I think that's going to.
Well, yeah, the guy that's doing the thing is a Michigan.
This is a Michigan
professor.
alum, so
Or a
congrats,
Michigan
you
grad.
won.
No shit.
Yeah, but he denied it on Friday. Yeah,
he did that so that when he does allow Jim to come back, he's like, "Oh, but I didn't let him coach against Penn State."
his name's Tim Connors. I didn't even put the connection, but Brad sent me a Photoshop of Tim Connors' face, like photoshopped onto a
Kevin
judge.
Connors
It was so
texted
funny.
the golf chat and was like, "Holy, my dad is doing the hearing."
The honorable Tim Connors.
Also,
right,
definitely
this sucks so
bullshit
bad.
that it's a Michigan person. Like we couldn't figure out how to not have that happen.
But also, like, how many judges in Washtenaw Court on a Friday night?
Just
are
like
gonna be able
all
to
the
get,
tunnel
and you
shit
can't-
last
you don't
year
know their
was
ties.
a Michigan prosecutor who
guy.
was like a ginormous Walmart fanboy. Yeah,
It was like Dinkowitz or
absolute
something. I
horseshit.
forget his name.
Anyways, hopefully I
So
didn't
we'll
rile
see.
up the Michigan fans too bad
Um,
this week. I'm hoping Evan did that.
I thought that was good. I mean, at this point, it's like politics. There's no middle ground on it. You're just one way or the other, I feel like. And I got to be in the bunker because, I mean, what else am I going to do? What am I going to be like? Oh, yeah, my team's so dirty. I can't root for these guys. I need to go root for someone else. Like, no chance. I can't.
Well, I told you what you could do. That's reasonable.
What?
And it would just be admitting your wrongs, and that's what Michigan doesn't want to do. You've done it, but they don't want to do it.
Yeah, they cheated. I don't want to go. 'Cause the problem is this is distracting from an all-time performance. We can go faster through this because
That game
I want to
sucked.
talk about the
So
game. I had all my
boring.
notes, but No,
for a national college football fan,
diehard, that was
not exciting because we never thought Penn State had a chance.
That was like a pitcher's duel.
No, it wasn't.
That was like strategic defense.
Penn State
and
didn't
game
do shit.
Planning. It was such a good game. I thought. God. Penn State was moving the football early.
Grant, if you watched it from a national perspective, you'd be like, Penn State has no chance in this football game from the second basically it started.
No way.
I watched the whole
first
game.
two drives for Michigan. First two drives for Michigan, punts. All right. So, like, wow. And also, they tried to throw and got sacked instantly. So, immediately as a Michigan fan, you realize, I don't think we can throw very well. And I was told this defense was number one in the country. So, I don't know how we're going to do with that. And then they just start bringing out 8 linemen and just pounding it. And it works. And I thought dynamic. Yeah, maybe in the second half, it started to go a little dull. But the chess play between the two sides, what it reminded me of, Evan, this will click. Alex, I don't know were you at the road Ipsy game our senior year?
I was definitely there, but I probably don't have as good of a recollection as you guys.
Ipsy is playing the role of Penn State in this situation where, as Tecumseh, they are just too athletic and fast of a defense for us to do anything on the edges or any sort of passing. Like their pass rush will get home because they're just faster than our tackles. So what did Romano do with Wyatt and Mitch? We just put them in a phone booth and ran the ball like 35 times between the tackles and beat them that way because they just aren't disciplined enough in the middle. And that's what it felt like I was watching.
Everything you said is correct. The problem is that Penn State wasn't doing any chess moves on offense for themselves. So that's why it felt one-sided because Penn State wasn't – they just ranked JJ – they were running a Jay Johnson offense where they were just running QB draw like every 4 plays. And then Aller fumbled and it was like, see you later. This game stinks.
They didn't move the ball, though. They had some long drives. Like that first drive that was
nothing.
That Michigan stopped them on the field goal. That was a huge play because if they go up 7-0, it's a different game.
The one like
in the field goal because they were doing stupid shit.
Yeah, Jay Johnson level fucking play call for Penn State.
Evan, your weekly James Franklin rant. This
God, he's
really
bad.
If people would just still I've been saying this for how many years? The only reason he's still at Penn State is because he had Saquon Barkley.
But he won 9 games at Vanderbilt twice. That's pretty remarkable.
No one gives a shit. In a down east where Tennessee sucked and Florida sucked.
And Georgia wasn't good either.
Georgia was not very. Georgia was only going to win 10 games max with Mark Richt. So,
anyways, bad coach.
It was just. I thought going for 2 on the first one was stupid, and then that backed him into a corner. When the second one, I really still do not understand. I don't know about you guys.
You would have been down 8.
Why would you?
You would have been down 8. You still have 1 possession left.
Because then it puts pressure on. It puts pressure on Michigan's play caller.
Because you wouldn't be down 2 possessions. You wouldn't be down 2 possessions.
And if you think if they had just kicked on the first one when they went for 2, they would have been down 24-10, and then they wouldn't have even had. They would be down 24-17. He went for 2 so early to try to chase.
And did you see the video of that? Did you see that reporter asked him why? And he's like, "I just want to get points." He's like, "No, I don't think you answered my question."
That reporter is me. I just couldn't understand. I don't understand that mindset. There's something about
what did Alex and I say during the preview?
Make them nervous.
And I said, James Franklin's going to do something stupid that's going to cost him the game. Now, technically, it never really cost him the game. It just gave him a negative % chance to ever come back in the game.
Penn State also just doesn't have the firepower on offense to ever come back in a game anyways. But
I don't remember
Michigan's
who said
defense, too. Let's not take
Someone said it. I can't remember who it was. Credit to whoever told me in my life. But they always said Penn State is never completely balanced. The years that they have really good running backs, they have sucky skill players. The year they have really good skill players, they have a sucky running back. They can never be balanced.
Feels like Penn State's always just been a quarterback away, and they just don't ever have. I mean, Aller could be good.
They did win the conference.
And McSorley was probably the best quarterback they've had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Throw it on a dime.
So, Penn State just can't.
They had a 6'8" NFL tight end. They had one of the best running backs in the NFL.
I got a question for you guys, just while we're on Penn State.
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
No, I would not take him as my head coach, Alex. Absolutely not.
It's about Penn State. So, Penn State is the classic team that they have a very, high floor. They're going to, win 8 or 9 games minimum, pretty much.
It's because of their brand. People overlook it because it's the Penn State brand.
And then their ceiling Because I was looking at stats today when I was talking to the Penn State dude at work. Because I was like, he ricochet shotted me about Michigan State. So I was like, well, buddy, we're not going to do that today.
Here we go.
Interesting to be doing that.
So I was looking, and most games he's ever won at Penn State is 11, I believe. So and that was 11-2. So I think they went 10-2 in the regular season. They won the Big Ten that year, then they lost.
Yes.
Or they won the Rose Bowl.
Tracy McSorley threw the ball away to Sam Darnold's USC Trojans.
Anyways, so your ceiling is like 10 or 11, but like you're never really sniffing much more than that. So now, Evan, to you or Grant, I guess. So let's say Jim Harbaugh leaves. Would you want a coach like that, or would you want a guy that goes like could go 3-9 one year and then like 11-1, 12-0? Like, would you rather have the higher ceiling, much lower floor, or would you like the high floor, lower ceiling? Which maybe in that scenario you could sneak something in there, like a Big Ten title every 10 years. But like, what would you prefer as a fan?
I feel confident going first because Jim Harbaugh was James Franklin until he flipped a switch with a good quarterback. Cade, I guess, was first, but I would easily take the high floor guy because you truly are just one quarterback away from then you are pretty good for like 2 to 3 years with that kid if he's good. And that's what we're seeing now with Michigan.
That's a good point.
Where like the floor was, were they 7-5 maybe 1 year under Harbaugh, 8-4?
Yeah, and then the COVID year.
And it was always the stats they use against Franklin were the stats I lived through for 5 years of like he's 2-10 versus big opponents. And then you got a guy, you hired a psycho to steal signs. Kidding. But you started winning and you finally got a quarterback and system that worked. And you hired a strength coach that changed boys into men and you got a good program. So I would take the high floor.
Like easily no brainer. Because I was asking the Penn State dude.
Because you just need one quarterback, especially in the transfer portal era. You just got to hit on one quarterback.
But it's got to get exhausting. Like you just know every year you're going to lose to Michigan and Ohio State. And then when Michigan State's good, you probably lose to them too. Or you're going to rotate between losing to those teams every year. And then you're never going to actually have a chance to win the Big Ten in the last week of the season. Like it's got to be like upsetting. Like I can see as a fan, like you would be like, I want a new coach.
100%. And that's where I was with Harbaugh. And then now
they have to get a new coach. They have to. Like, what is the point? You are in a stagnant. Texas A&M did it. You're in a stagnant state right now.
Texas A&M never won 10 games with Jimbo Fisher. That's a crazy stat, but they never did.
Yeah, I understand it, but their AD said they were in a stagnant state. That's what I'm going off of his quote today.
But Grant's right. You could be one.
You have to try.
Away,
Penn State has to try something new.
It could get.
But look at James Franklin's track record with quarterbacks. Look at his track record with quarterbacks.
Aller's a 5-star dude. He's still young. He's 19.
Okay, just because you're five stars doesn't mean crap. Like develop somebody or do something about it.
Right, but I mean, it would be pretty immature of us to just be like, "Oh, Aller's never going to be good. He's 19." Do
you ever going into a Penn State game and you're like, their quarterback is superior, better than mine?
Well, this year, yeah.
McSorley was better than Michigan.
McSorley was not. No, when
I never once feared Trey McSorley because he always threw that one terrible interception, or he would do stupid mistakes.
Peak of our powers at that point.
Jason McSorley's peak was JJ last year. That was his peak. That was his best performance. Was how bad or good JJ played last year. However you want to call it.
An inconsistent ride, but pretty good.
Penn State's the all-time front runner. The all-time front runner.
It's just tough because when you're winning 10 games, it's like it's hard to justify like getting rid of someone like that.
Well, then people.
The only small difference here.
I don't know.
I'd be pissed off.
What about this point?
My only big thing was the biggest example for this is you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Is Nebraska? They fired Bo Pelini when he was winning 9-10 games a year.
Now they
could do better. And now they're in the ultimate dumpster fire.
They're on.
Matt Rule's over.
They'll be good in a few years, maybe. But
in fairness, they hired Mike Riley, who was probably one of the worst hires in Big Ten history.
But that's what can happen. You can just mess up and be terrible.
But here's
with that bitch of an AD, they probably are going to mess up.
Here's a small detail to factor in, though, when it comes to their decision is one, is different when it came to Harbaugh on the hot seat because he doesn't have Penn State ties. So there's not that loyalty. His body of work wasn't as good as Harbaugh's in the Super Bowl run in the NFL and what he did at Stanford. It's just
He certainly doesn't have the track record.
And two, like the in-game blunders are so much on a higher scale than what Jim would do at Michigan. Like the dumb trick plays were never a thing. So I think that like you put those three together, I can see tipping the scale till we got to get rid of this guy. That can make me get there.
And like in that point, like Grant, you hit it on the head, like the dumb super blunders in game situations. If this was treated like a NFL organization, you have so many people in the front office critiquing those in-game situations, he would have been gone 2 years ago. But you have one person making that decision. What everyone else has to be buddies because James Franklin's the boss. You have one person making that decision. That's the athletic director.
That's why the athletic directors get paid the big bucks. But it would be a tough decision because, I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but like Penn State could wait it out. Drew Aller could like become something really special next year in the next 2 years, and then they could be really good with Michigan being. Well, I would say with JJ gone, I mean they should take a step back. I'm not going to say they will, but like, and Kyle McCord's not special, so
we're actually going to Arch Main's going to transfer because I heard Quinn Ewers is staying another year. That's what I'm manifesting.
You don't care about 2024. Grant.
So
Arch Manning's grandpa says
Quinn Ewers in 2024.
Arch Manning's grandpa said he's happy at Texas.
He's not sitting another year at 11. We're not that naive. There's no way the kid sits another year.
He might. I mean, he could have won the job this year and he didn't.
Anyways. Yeah. My last points I had, this was a listener text from someone. I actually don't know the number. I didn't look it up. But they asked, is this a top 10 win in Michigan history, given the surrounding circumstances?
Top 10 win in Michigan history. This person had to be born after 2000.
Who's going to say they got to be a younger person to think that?
And while I won't speak to things I never saw live, I'm not a historian. I like to live in things that I've seen with my eyes.
10 is
which
a lot
I would
of
like to be
games,
better at more history. But I would say in my life, given this surrounding, I would put maybe it's 9 or 8. But I do think that as much as we crap on Penn State, which is totally fair, they have a buffoon of a coach and their offense was inept. The just track record of Michigan going there is not good, and they have won the last 3. But the difference of last year, or 2021 with Cade McNamara, is that Penn State team had already lost 3 games. They were unranked. It wasn't this level of intensity. The crowd was way louder in this game. Their whole season was on the line. They were backed into a corner. They were as desperate as they could get. And going in there with the distractions that they created themselves and no head coach, which while you can argue, I don't know what his role is on game days. I do think asking Sharon Moore to call plays and then be the head coach. They said at one point, Jenny Taft reported that he forgot to put back on like his headset for head coaching stuff. Like he was talking to players and like, hey, you got to get back on because we need to have questions about like game flow stuff.
I think it's overhyped. I really honestly don't think Harbaugh's value on game-based situations is as valuable as some people think. I don't value it that much.
And he's just calling timeouts and deciding to go for it on fourth down. Like
maybe he can go talk individually with people.
I mean, he's JJ's butt lord.
You never know.
I do also get it. He is like the quarterback coach technically, but
I'll put it up there.
I'm sorry.
How does this, in terms of the game, I knew they weren't throwing it all. I did not realize it was 32 straight.
That is remarkable. I didn't even notice that in the moment.
Okay, I'm gonna praise Michigan in this situation. Grant, you touched on it. They got sacked. Right.
We were way wrong.
They got sacked. Manny Diaz is addicted to blitzing and speed. And in fairness, to neutralize speed, we're going to run the ball down their throat.
On Saturday that he wanted Manny Diaz to be the Michigan State head coach.
I didn't say I wanted. I said I would be intrigued. But
Evan, no, he's a loser.
Continue.
He's not as big of a loser as James Franklin. But they just run the ball at speed. Run the ball at speed, and you can't do anything about it.
Al Romano, baby.
So when people were like, well, did you learn anything new? I didn't learn anything new from Michigan. Of anything, if you watch that game.
A little. I didn't know they could do that. I didn't know they could do that this year.
If you watched that game and you had no idea what was going on in the world, zero idea what was going on in the world, you would have thought that game was from 2017 and Jim Harbaugh was calling the offense. You honestly would have thought that.
Sharon stuck to his guns, man. He didn't know what else to do. He's like, I just got to run this ball. That's all I know.
Well, Penn State's also defense is
against the number one run defense.
Overrated.
I think
they were giving up 60
I think
yards.
what
a game.
helps
front runners.
Michigan be able to just commit to the bit, as they say, is like they also knew that Penn State wasn't going to score, so let's just keep doing it.
Yeah,
and let's just run the clock.
Huge
and
factor. Let's not mess up.
We're not going to throw a pick. Let's just run the ball, waste clock, and let's see if we can keep it moving.
If Michigan really wanted to against Penn State,
down.
if Michigan had to throw the ball and win, JJ would have won the game for him.
I would agree. That's what I said.
You saw,
but that pass
Grant,
rush,
you saw in a couple possessions. You saw a couple possessions. Michigan started throwing the screens, and they had no idea what to do. They threw quick out screen games, and they had no idea what to do. We're just not going to block you. We're going to let you go by. We're going to throw a screen and have our offensive lineman beat the living crap out of the cornerback while we're 15 yards down the field.
Yeah. That streak of consecutive runs in a game was the most over the last 20 seasons in college football. So back to 2000.
You're beating the Service Academy.
So, yes. And obviously the one pass attempt was a pass interference, so that doesn't go in as a play. That's just a no play.
Big for Michigan.
Yeah. So there was one pass.
Is that in all college football or just Power 5, Grant?
So it's weird because it says in the last 20 seasons, but then it says it's the longest streak by a non-service academy since.
Oh, there's the asterisks.
So I feel like those two
they
stats
threw in
the
the
service
service academy.
These non-service academy. I was thinking the service academy has to be in there, but they're in there.
And then it got me thinking, like, which teams? What's the list of teams that Michigan couldn't beat by only running?
Georgia.
Is it just like
Alabama?
The top? Georgia.
I think Oregon would be tough.
Oregon.
They're pretty tough.
Could they beat Washington only running the football?
I think that they would be in trouble if Washington scored first.
I think Washington has bigger boys.
They got some Samoans inside.
Texas, they'd have to throw because Texas got big boys up front.
I think with Washington, they would.
But it was stunning.
They'd score points, and you'd have to get a track meet, and you just wouldn't be able to keep up if you just ran the ball the whole time. You wouldn't have enough time, enough possessions.
And then, as always, how we view everything with this team in Ohio State. How does this change your views at all on the matchup on November 25th? Anything is a little look ahead?
Because
if nothing, Michigan's. I think Michigan, like Grant, you touched on it. I think it helps Michigan's confidence in the run game. I think they found a little bit. But also that formation, though, formations and their different run plays out of those formations are now out there for Ohio State to watch. So, like, it's not like something new that steal some signs, code it, decode it, watch the TV broadcast.
Connor Stallions down. They'll get that shit figured out.
I
don't leave thinking anything different. It is nice to see that. It's not nice because I don't like Michigan. But, I mean, for them, it's nice to see that they do have that ability to run the ball, which we thought maybe they were struggling with that this year. So maybe it makes them more balanced, which we just talked about. Penn State has none of that. Definitely helps with Ohio State because their defense is legit, so you can throw more at them.
I think it's positive and negative for
about
me
the fact that maybe they didn't trust JJ to win it with his arm.
No, I saw Brandon Walker spouting that off on my feed. That came up saying they must not trust him. And I was like, he just knows nothing.
I don't think that's what it was about. I think Sharon.
Did you see Dave just absolutely ripping into Brandon Walker?
You found him in the bushes.
And but also about the Mississippi State take during their broadcast of their tailgate show. Because Brandon Walker rips into like all the like good teams, and they're like, they lost. And he's like, how you guys lost to Georgia? And he's like, but your program is so dog crap that you'll never get there. So why are you hating on their success more than how bad you are?
It is funny when absolute dog shit programs think that they get to like have an opinion. They don't.
I mean, but I will do. In my own personal belongings, like I did make fun of Michigan when they lost to TCU while we were going 5-7, missing a 22-yard field.
I tried not to do that. I didn't text this guy.
I didn't really say anything. Grant,
I was actually rooting with you. I was texting you during that game. I was on your side. There's a one time.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, you can look back at those.
It was a
That
great
was
college
actually-
football game, and Sean McDonough called it. So
that was
everyone
actually nice
won.
during that
Everyone won that day.
Yeah. I also think about the stupid brainwashing and cult behavior because everyone keeps calling Michigan football a cult, which I'm not denying that it is.
All
but
football
like
programs are culty.
Alex and I were legitimately buying books about it takes what it takes just because Mel Tucker said that's what he bellies in. Like if you want to talk about full on cult behavior, we were just running around.
I can promise I won't be doing
tuck coming.
I
Like
won't
that's
be
what
doing
football
that with the
is.
next coach. I can promise. I'm not falling for. I'm not
you
falling
will,
for
though.
that
That's the
bullshit.
beautiful
I
thing
will
about.
not. I fell for it once. It was a
I
good
was
book,
gonna say,
though.
Positive, negative, though. Like, it's good to know Michigan can do that if they have to against Ohio State. Well, I think so. The game might end up being more like 2021 because last year was all just big pass fluke plays until Edwards runs, and it does make me nervous. Penn State's pass rush is better than Ohio State's, I believe, but I think Michigan's still going to have struggle blocking Ohio State's pass rush based on what I saw, because that was pretty immediately that Penn State was getting pressure pretty easily in that game. So they are minus 5.5 right now on FanDuel. I have to look at headlines.
Home game.
We'll see what it moves.
You guys want to go?
Game.
Oh yeah, Grant, you're going to be at the Iron Bowl. Oh my God, you're not even going to be able to
I will
watch.
be tailgating. I'll be tailgating watching
You're
it.
gonna be at the Iron Bowl.
Going to be disappointing.
Oh,
Yes.
bring back a Peyton Thorne
2:30
jersey.
kick. Well, Evan, I
Honestly,
said that
please don't
if
bring
they
back one,
win,
'cause
if Auburn wins, if Auburn wins, I already made a bet to myself that I'll buy a Peyton Thorne jersey as I leave. I have this one crazy high thought when I wasn't high, but it was more like a shower thought because I was looking at how when the crazy stuff with Michigan was happening and they were like using it as motivation, victim, whatever. I was like, in a weird way, like what if, because you know how like there's a PI firm that looked into Michigan and then turned it into the NCAA, and people are like, where did that come from? I was like, what if someone at Michigan was just so sick of Connor Stalions being a weirdo that they turned him in, knowing they'd get in trouble, that would turn into a rallying cry?
Christ.
I don't
for
think
the
it would go
football
that
team.
far.
It's a fact.
For
Grant, I don't think it would go that far. I do think that.
I know it's crazy, but I was like, this
Well,
could
the
be
first thing
all I know is they're gonna
that
lose
came
it.
out was that people thought it would be like an inside job, and people speculated the Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh hate. But I do like a part of me, 5-10% wouldn't doubt if somebody was just like, this guy's a nut job. I'm tired of him being around the buildings. Like, how do I get rid of him?
Yeah.
And they knew about it, and they're like, problem
Yeah.
solved. Wipe clean.
His old vacuum
And then
stink.
next thing you know, it turns into this whole thing, and the guy's like shunning himself into the house like, dude, it wasn't me. I can see that, but that guy's smartness of turning
is
somebody
quite the
in and
rallying
being
cry.
like, dude, they won't do anything about it. And then, front headline to everything.
I do wish they didn't. I wish they didn't pick the phrase "bet" because I don't
No,
like that
yeah,
phrase. That's
I
not my
think
favorite.
it's second behind.
Evan, we're
There's
on
the
the
coach is standing
record.
up on the bench.
I'll believe
The
it.
coach is standing on the bench after somebody makes a turnover, thinking you are a part of that play.
Oh, Ivan hates
You
that
mean
so much.
nothing. I don't care. You don't even have a headset on. You don't even belong on the sideline.
Remember the guy with the eyebrows, the Ryan Osborne guy that we used to
Grant,
always
make sure
do in
that
the
you
photos
just
that
caught
Chief
my
would
hot
make fun
mic
of?
right there because I said
I don't
Well,
blame
I'm
for
just
the
saying.
players celebrating. You did something, like, have at it. But these,
You just hate the Buffs.
I don't hate the
Evan
Buffs.
just-
I don't
no,
hate
he
like
hates
the,
it ever since
the chain.
the guy mean mugged on the sideline.
I hate the coaches getting involved. Like, you mean something.
The fat coach that mean mugged on the sideline will forever ruin Evan's perspective.
And now it's like every
Yeah,
every
just like-
no-name coach that thinks they're a part of the football program and you mean nothing to them. I just get out of the picture. Get out of the picture. You don't see one no-name in the NFL running down to
Evan, enough.
the end zone and like,
It's enough. I get it.
Last thing for that, it could just be Donovan Edwards just shows up for big games and has
He's in
big
the
plays. That
transfer
just might be his only thing that he does.
he's running with those basketball training goggles on, where you can't see your perimeter or underneath. You can only see what's in front of you. That's what he's running with on.
Dude,
That's what he's running with.
where he looked like absolutely terrible.
It was bad. Last question for you guys: does the A&M job opening? How do you think it
I can
impacts
tell
your
you
guys'
right
search?
away my answer on this.
Shoot me, man.
If Texas A&M takes Dan Lanning, Oregon opens, we're more on a. I mean, Texas A&M, they can pretty much get their pick of the litter because they just got so much money. So like, we really can't.
They literally have
compete with
whatever, like any cash check.
It is crazy to remind ourselves that is like a top 5
Pretty
job
crazy.
in college football. It's
But
insane.
so like if they
despite
they
their
take Dan
wins.
Lanning. Oregon opens. They're more on like they're Big Ten. They're kind of like on our playing field somewhat. So then you lose some candidates to Oregon. Like, yeah, they're better more than likely. So they can poach. They could take Jonathan Smith. It's a pretty close drive. Oregon State to Oregon. You could just hop over there.
You can't do that.
Either way, Oregon opens. Then maybe Oregon poaches a coach, and then another Power 5 job opens, and then that could start like a brutal.
Mississippi State's open.
Well, that's not a job, Evan.
It's a
like this A&M job touches all of college
basically
football.
If Dan Lanning leaves
Alex, Penn State should be open. To be honest,
Evan, can I just finish?
I heard UCLA is open.
Chip Kelly's getting
throw
fired.
more on it.
I don't actually want.
There's smoke that Chip's getting fired. I don't
He
think
actually
that
has a
affects you
worse
guys.
record than Jim.
They might take Jed Fish.
We don't
though.
want Jed Fish.
They might take Jed Fish.
Okay. No,
your loss.
He's very associated with Connor Stallions. Is the rumor in that? That's why Michigan State doesn't want him.
Yeah, those winners associated with Connor Stallions.
Jed Fish is also like the classic bag chaser. So he would probably come and leave. Like if you look at Jed Fish's Wikipedia, he had a new job every single year for 10 years.
Is there any latest on Urban Alex?
Yeah, there is some, but I would say it's
over.
His people did reach out to A&M's people, so he there's a chance that maybe he was just
he would build a monster
there. Go there the whole time, and that's why
he would build a monster at Texas A&M.
That could be why A&M opened their job earlier because Michigan State's been open for so long, and maybe Urban was thinking about it, and they're like, "Well, we better act now." So then Urban's told his people, "Hey, tell the A&M I'm interested," and then they fire Jimbo, and then boom, see you later. So that could happen.
Oh my God.
Urban's not coming to Michigan State. I'm pretty confident saying that.
I'm so happy that I was right.
So is Jonathan Smith, you're being real about that? Is that the leader in the clubhouse?
I think it's pretty safe to assume that, yeah. He's when our job became available, his people reached out to us first.
Classic Brett Bielema.
Also there were some names this weekend that came up of people that wanted our job, and they were laughable people. Manny Diaz, Al Golden.
I don't want Lee shit either.
Lance
Evan,
Leipold is not going to come.
With your permission.
Oh my God, Gabe Davis.
My plan is to make your...
It's so big. It's so big.
My plan is to make your list of head coaches into a graphic to get the internet fired up this week. I just want to confirm that your top 6
Dude,
is
Evan,
as such.
God damn it. Your list is so bad. You can't let that go to the internet. You can't.
Yeah, I can. I don't give a fuck.
Because one of them I'm confused. Because one of them's not. I don't think one of them's ever coached. I don't think he was ever coached. So
He's literally
he was in the NFL a year ago.
That literally everybody loves, and the only reason I want him as a head coach is because he was an NFL quarterback for 15 years.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Your list last week actually enraged me. I was furious when I saw that. And then when you said you're just not going to cheer for Michigan State if Lance Leipold was coach, you were lying.
No,
you would.
Alex, it's not his name. That is not his name.
So
Lance is shit.
Don't worry about the last two guys. Don't worry about the last two guys because I got to put in their pictures. But those are the 6 names I have for you, Evan. If you'd like to change, I texted you guys. I hope it's sent. That's what I'm going with. If you want to change it, you got to do it right now, or else that's going to go public. I just want to see the reactions.
Cliff Kingsbury could get some positive reaction.
But you can tell Evan's got a type. Those top 2
yeah, you like hot dudes. That's what's happening. David Shaw, Evan. Oh my God. I don't want to get into it. Yeah, your mic is hurting my ears.
Is it really right now?
There, Evan.
No, I stopped.
It's good now.
David Shaw. Garbage.
All right. I just wanted to confirm. I think that should be the show so I can go to bed. We can all go to bed. Alex is on Central Time.
Daddy's hungry.
Cheers to episode 141. And Butler, Michigan State, first game ever at the Breslin for me. Basketball game on Friday. I'm excited.
It's going to suck.
Cheers. Division II playoff start. Fair State at GVSU.
Oh, and did you know I saw this? Fair State's head coach is not there because he let the players smoke cigars.
So they didn't suspend him at all through the regular season. They said your punishment is the first playoff game that you're going to make it to.
Because that's how much of a wagon they are.
And people were saying that Jim should coach Fair State and he should coach Michigan this weekend.
I really think that'd be a downside.
Because that'd be illegal.
Out.
No, legal.
You can?
You can just hire them. Yeah, just hire them.
Bob Stoops.
Yeah, because They're the different governing bodies.
Wow.
Jim coaching Ferris State in freaking Allendale, Michigan against JVSU would be
Can I end this
absolutely
podcast?
banana lands.